Let me get Justin here. Let me get a blanket. I don't think that's gonna work. It's too many colors. How about right here? Yeah, this will be right. Let me try my head. I got my clothes behind me. I took them before I went to bed. How about that? Let's see if that works. That works. That works. That works. Everybody can see my ugly mug. This is what I look like in the morning. So if you date me, this is what I look like in the morning. Okay. Uh, mm, Make sure I ain't got nothing on my face. Whatever. Whatever. Yes, I'm a slim motherfucker. I'm skinny. Oh, sure. Sure. So if one of you ladies want to feed me, let me know. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. This is live from the bed. Live from the bed. I have not done one of these yet, and I thought it would be a different take on things. Let's see if I can put it that way. Yeah, that's better. I thought it'd be a different take on things. So instead of having like some setup, and I just do one natural. I haven't just stopped waking up. I was probably up like 2 hours ago, but I'm up now. So I want to talk about a few things. A couple people asked me, how is life going for me so far? God, there's so many different ways I could put that. I would say it's like it's going good. It's not bad, but there's so many things that I know could improve it. As far as like, okay, where should I start? Um, I mean, most people know like my background and what happened with me and the whole homeless thing and the um this like I really got to sit down the past couple of weeks. Like I say, excuse me, I'm just waking up, but I think I really got to sit down in the past 2 months that I've been in here, and I've actually got to sit back and be like, okay, this is life now. My life's different, and I'm pretty much happy about it. I mean, I'm not upset. I'm not as upset as I used to be. I'm learning not to be so violent. I'm definitely learning that, even though I failed last week, but I'm getting better. Um, I'm keeping up with my phone calls with my psychiatrist, which she is determined I don't need her as much anymore, which is amazing. And she sees it from a sign of me being like independent, living on my own again, shit like that, or whatever, whatever. Um, I have a real problem on where I'm going with this whole YouTube thing right now. I think that's one of the things that gets on my mind because, unlike before, I had a story. I think. I mean, I still do have a story, but I had a larger story because it was kind of like preempted by the homelessness and everything like that, and what's going to happen with them today or whatever. And I'm still going to continue to advocate and talk for homeless people. I'm never going to stop that. To the day I'm off this earth, I will always advocate for those people because the problem still exists, even though I'm okay. You know what I mean? And there's so many black women and men and families, meaning there's a man and a woman that are involved in that shit. We also often just point out like guys are on drugs and shit like that gets highlighted when we talk about like the homeless situation. But in reality, it's a lot of families. I'm talking about like mother, father, kids are there. And they're black people, they're Latin people, they're white people too. But it's a shitload. It's a shitload. You'll be so surprised. And everybody likes to pretend like, everything's back to normal and, everything's okay and I'm making money. Shut the fuck up. You work at fucking McDonald's for $15 an hour or work at fucking Amazon delivery or, those are not long sustaining jobs. Those are jobs that are momentary or more preferably for people that just got out of high school or teenagers in a lot of cases. So it's not like a fucking like a sustainable job. You know, that's when you know the difference between you're talking to somebody that knows sustainable income versus someone who is just trying to survive. It's a very big difference. You know what I mean? And I've never been on that path of survival before, like I had this previously. You understand what I'm saying? But intentionally, um, putting myself out there, entering resumes and shit like that, I'm still like a year off from that. I've had so many people come on here and try to dissect me. You know, you can't dissect me. You can't. You can't. You know. I had a woman last night when I was doing the live that came in with all intentions of disrupting the live. You know, last night when I was live, I'm not gonna get into that, so don't worry, don't go anywhere. But I lost probably like I think like 10 or 15 followers because of that, and I continue to try to be as nice as I possibly could to this person, and they were just set and bent on that. So not only do I have the obstruction of women of color in a way or whatever, whatever, I barely get any support. It was bad enough when I was fucked up. There was people that didn't want to support me at all. There was people that actually were rooting for my demise when I was homeless, believe it or not. So, you know, don't I never got any negative comments, and I hate to say it like this. I never got any negative comments from anybody Latino. I never got any negative comments from anybody that was white. They were always so supportive. That is not to say that black people wasn't supported as well, but those two groups, I never got anything but encouragement, and one or two of them donated, but I never got nothing but encouragement. Hey, try this. They gave me suggestions, everything else. What I found with a lot of black people is black people like to soar and trying to pretend like they're something that they're not and equate to feel adequate. You know, that's one thing I did learn out of this whole ordeal, I think, was that you can't really depend on black people unless there's some type of satire with it. You can't really depend on them unless there's some type of something in for them to win, you know? And I'm not saying that all people of color are like that because they're not. I've had some wonderful people of color come and try to help me and offer what they could and give good advice or whatever, whatever. In so many cases, they give what they could. But there's another segment of people that are my opposition, really, you know, and they exist within the black diagram. And I'm sorry, I just have to say it like that, you know. And as cocky as it sounds, that girl that came on my post last night is one of the perfect examples of that. Sophia Rose or whatever her name was, that said she came in peace or whatever. I really believe that was Cynthia G, to be quite honest with you. Um, I've heard other bloggers now talk about how she has multiple fake profiles and she kind of scurries around or whatever. Don't let her get confused. She's not some huge YouTuber. You know what I mean? Anonymous. Why you talking shit? Bye bye. You see what I mean? So, like I said, like it's sad how much emphasis I have seen black people put on being terrorists. I just had one I had to fucking delete just now. Why you talking shit? That was black. I don't argue with you. You're not my competition. A normal motherfucker that is unaccomplished, has never done anything in life. You're not in the same industry I strive around or anything like that or been in. You're not my competition. You know, I don't know why you don't realize that, or some people of color think that we're all the same. We're not all the same. Okay, we're not all the same. For starters, I speak Spanish and French. Do you? We're not the same. Eh, For some reason or another, a lot of black people think this is across the world now. This is not just the United States. It's across the world. They think because we are all the same color that we are all the same. We've had the same experiences. We go through the same hardships. And I'm here to tell you we don't. And I can tell you a lot of other people of color that can agree with me and tell you that we don't either. What I find is the ones that pretend the most usually are the ones that have had the least, had some of the worst experiences in life, and really can't be trusted for anything. You understand? So for some wayward that's just online talking, because see, when I was homeless, I went through it all. I had people, and a lot of people, my long term followers especially, they remember I used to have people that would come on and they would say the most obnoxious shit to me, the most worst shit. Never did I cry on camera, never did I complain or whatever, whatever, whatever. And I used to have people that would get mad at me. To this day, they still do that. I have people that get mad at me for people that donate to me. A lot of it I boiled and started boiling it down to. I was like, well, maybe they just are jealous because they can't garner enough attention that people will want to donate to them, or they have a cause that's specific that people. Good morning, visions. See, I like people like that to come in, grand rising, peaceful people. I don't like that rambunctious nigga shit. Why you up? Anybody that writes at 8 o'clock in the morning, why you up talking shit? That's somebody that wakes up every day. I'm talking about that last commenter. That's somebody that wakes up every day, and every day they wake up, their life is in catastrophe, or they're only bent on daily causing catastrophe. You know, why are you here? I had another neurotic one last night that just said, "Well, just delete me." Bitch, you follow me. I don't follow you. You know, like it's a lot of weird, nasty vibes going on within the culture between this like one group of have-nots and this one group of they think they got it. And I can tell you straight up, as a guy that's been around people that have had it, substantially had it. I worked for millionaires for over 17 years. So I've worked around people that were rich, rich. People that drove Maseratis, people that drove Lambos, shit like that for years, decades, almost 2 decades. So I know the difference in the definition of rich and opulent and all that shit. But I see some people of color, it seems they're only bent on showboating and showdogging on people of color. And that's why I have a problem. Because you're not out here and you're not actually like stunning on white people. You're stunning on your own. You're disrespecting your own in front of white people in order to make you feel adequate in society. When we really break it down, in a many of times you're worse than the person you're making fun of, because that person is hurting. They're like, like when you're in that homeless situation and everything like that, it's like, dude, because people are asking me what's going on with me and how I've been. Two free trouble on one troop away from being home. Exactly. And with the increasing numbers, no one got it like that. They pretend very well. Exactly. It is so many, and I hate to say this like this, and ladies, please don't feel like I'm attacking you individually. I'm attacking individual women. Last night, when I was online and I did that live about Cynthia G, right? Don't turn off. I'm not going to make this about Cynthia G, but I just want to explain something and I want to give you an example. When I was on there, I was talking, what's going on, Egalitarian 207? When I was on there, one of the funny things was this woman came in and her name was Sophia Rose. She called herself or whatever. I really think it was just Cynthia G or one of Cynthia G's real close followers or something like that. Go over there and see what's going on with them nickels. Coming up here to Candyland Plantation showing their ass. Go up there and get Master Candy from the big house now. Tell them they out here acting up. Run up and have now, girl. Last night, the woman came in and she said, and if you wasn't here, let me explain to you. Last night I did a live, and I've done sequentially probably like 3 or 4 lives concerning Cynthia G. I am not attacking Cynthia G per se, but what I'm asking the question of is, one, with you working in so many white facilities, working with white people, working for white companies, doing modeling for Forelli, whether it was just, snapshots or whatever, how are you now out here talking about you are a stern advocate against interracial relationships? You were talking about where the black dollar should go and all this shit, but at the same time, you've done nothing but work for whites your whole entire career. And to add to insult, you talk about black men on your channel, but it was a black man that put you on who was Dr. Boyce Watkins. Boyce Watkins got her popping. So last night she came, one of her followers came in or whatever, and was acting like they were a nice person at first, and the people you were online with me, you saw that. And then she just turned into somebody different. And then the funny thing about it was, this is the thing that bothered me. The motherfucker turned around and said that I called them something I didn't call them. So I called out my audience and I said, well, if y'all heard me, did y'all hear me call her something or what? Like it was totally made up. And she did that so she could attack me in hopes that I would attack her and then my followers would see it. And then somehow the end game would be that they wouldn't fuck with me anymore. Sweetie, I lost 10 motherfuckers. And the reason I lost those 10 people, honestly and truthfully, because they were Cynthia G devotees, which asked me again. See, I'm not in that realm of that, so I don't know why you would come to my page and be mad about what I said, but that's another story, another topic. Back on, I noticed, and the reason I used her as an example is because when I was scratching and scrabbling or whatever you want to call it on these streets, I noticed in my comment section that this is the way that a lot of women use to attack you. And then when you put their whole life under a microscope, these women are doing terrible. Many of them. Many of them are in debt. Many of them are not reached a point or whatever in their life where they've even had a relationship. I'm not married, but I've been in some wonderful relationships. Like, except throw my ex out the side, right? I have had to this day, and this happened even on Thanksgiving, this past Thanksgiving. I have always had a good repertoire with the women I've dated, whether they are women that are black women, whether they, my ex was black, she was Ethiopian but black, whether they were black women, whether they were Spanish women, whoever I dated. I have women to this day, and I'll have them come up here. They used to date me that still speak to me. I didn't have to preempt any of three women that were my exes to come and tell me Happy Thanksgiving this year, last year, or the year before that. I didn't have to preempt one of my exes sending me over what 1,000 and something plus dollars in the course of me being 3 months of me being homeless. I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to preempt her or any of that shit, you know. And that's bothers some people, both men and women, because a lot of them don't have that opportunity. You know, a lot of them don't have that. I don't know. They just don't have it. And I maintain that. And that shows a lot about my character. These are women. Okay. One of those women that in that wished me happy Thanksgiving was a black woman, you know. I had a couple of black women that, do that or whatever, whatever. So, you know, I'm not talking about good black women. I had a lot of good black women help me. I'm talking about shitty women that sit around and for some reason or another, they highlight these podcasts and these clips and things like that on social media and they try to make stances from them. And most of the time they're inexperienced stances. That's one thing I find. They're inexperienced stances. They're stances based on arrogance. They're stances based on just like pure deep ignorance. Like you're trying to rationalize some shit that you're saying just because you're saying it. And a lot of times, I really think a lot of these women and men just like to hear their own voices. You know what I'm saying? Like, it nobody's here to degree or decide whether or not what you say is right or wrong, right? Like, there's many people on YouTube that I agree with or don't agree with, and whatever the case may be. But I don't go to their page on a daily basis and be like, "Hey, let me write a comment and say fuck yeah," and every now and then I will write a comment, but I've noticed that a lot of these women and simp ass men, it doesn't matter what your content is on your page, and everybody's got different content. The women are some of the most vicious motherfuckers and some of the most conniving motherfuckers. Segment. One underline segment. If you don't know what the word segment means, see, that's another problem too. A lot of people get online try to pretend like they are intelligent, and you throw the most simplest word at them, they can't even decipher the word or use it in the contention of how it's being dished at them. You understand what I'm saying? So when I say segment, that means a portion. That portion can be skewed by the demographic number, meaning that it could be whatever percentage, but it's a high percentage of these women in general doing this shit. Not just black women, women in general are doing this shit in a segment. And there's another segment of women that are not are seeing the bullshit and they're coming in and they're being like, bitch. No, you don't. No, you don't, bitch. No, you don't. And I appreciate those women. I really do. Those women are some of the most amazing women in the world. I've had some amazing women come and donate to me. I'm not saying it's all about that, but I mean, this really. I had Out of everybody that's donated to me, I've only had 2 or 3 men that are solid people. You know what I mean? Shout out to TMH and a couple other people, whatever, whatever. That the other day I was going out, and that's how I ended up buying my mic. You know what I mean? And I seen that mic just the day before, and it was on sale, and I was like, shit, I should get that shit. And I was like, I ain't got no extra dollars for that shit. Don't get it. And then boom, it just showed up right there when I was at the store. I was like, oh hell yeah, this is meant for me to get. So I got me a mic. But the majority of people that have supported me have been women of color. So, make no mistake about it, it benefits me none to get on. I can tell you a whole bunch of other things I do for women of color, but you're not supposed to brag on shit like that. But I could really break it down from I've told this story before, so I can tell this one. I got this particular black woman hired. Now I didn't get her hired, but I got her hired based off the introduction. And based off my introduction is the reason why she's where she's at now. And so it came a time when I got let go of the music industry or whatever, whatever. And I said an idea. I said, let me set out with this idea right here. Let me call this person because I know they got my back. Do you know this person wouldn't even accept my phone call? And I was like, you wouldn't even have that job if it wasn't for the introduction I gave you. And it wasn't the first time. I've had it happen like 3 or 4 or 5 times. I never became bitter about it. I called a couple bitches cunts, you know how I do. And other than that, I let it go. I didn't go on some long diatribe. I know her social media pages. I didn't go to a social media page and be like, you motherfucker. And you let it go. You let it go. Some of these women are so bent on being Cruella de Vil, and men too, bent on being RuPaul or a version of RuPaul or some shit. I don't know. Some of these motherfuckers are so bent on causing destruction that you guys are becoming accustomed to it. You're becoming accustomed to seeing the shit. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of women out here that are just fucking despicable. All right. There's a lot of women within the culture that are fucking despicable. They are. They are. There's a lot of people within the culture that are fucking despicable. If you don't think so, I would tell you this: look at the nightly news. Look at those people that are on there and they're committing crimes and the crimes they're committing. I watched a video this morning. I was going to throw it up, but I said, nah, I don't want to throw this shit up on my page. And it was of a man in Atlanta, Georgia, who had stabbed this white couple. All right. And they have him on film not only leaving the apartment after he stabbed them up, but he also takes the safe from their house, throws it over the fence. They got him on video. They got him on video. This is a black dude. And I'm like, imagine me sitting there creating a diatribe trying to defend this motherfucker based off the fact just of his skin color. Oh, this brother's a good brother. He ain't killed them 2 white folks on purpose. He killed them 2 white people out of oppression. This is the type of shit that a lot of people are putting up nowadays. You understand what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, the poor white trasher does the same. Fuck you too. But I can't have that. I can't have that. And when I speak out against it, it seemingly seems like that a lot of people are insulted because I speak out against. There's no reason that Cynthia G should be on a daily diatribe talking about she helps any man of color dies. Because I would never have the gall or the gumption to get online and say to any woman, unless it was some evil bitch that was fucking with kids or murdered a child or murdered a man, that I'm glad she's dead. Virgil Abloh working at Louis Vuitton. I don't see how the fuck he was the number one predator in America, or he should be the number one guy that we should go after and be like, I'm glad he's dead because he took his money and his resources. Yeah, okay, Michael Grant, you got to go. Somebody just wrote, did you dream about Cynthia G? This is a man or somebody pretending that he's a man. He calls himself Michael Grant, so we got him to fuck up on out of here. I was trying to block him last night. You see what I mean? These people are like grown children. He wrote to me, did you dream about Cynthia G last night? Said that, and they'll try to create a narrative based on their own imagination. These are sick people. That's why I raised the question last night, and I'll say again, I think her and most of the people that follow her are mentally ill. And I say this from someone that suffers from trauma and depression, but I'm not mentally ill. Those motherfuckers are mentally ill. It's only 8:30 in the morning. This motherfucker's tapping in, talking about, did you dream about Cynthia G? The other one writes in, says some other silly shit. You have to ask yourself, what type of people circle around her, you know? What type of people circle around her? What type of people sit back 5, 6 times out of a day and create profiles specifically so they can come back and bother you? Yeah, he obviously drink the me. That's what I'm saying. And if you don't like me, why do you keep coming back? Like you keep coming back for what reasons? I had to get rid of them. But I don't argue with them simpleton ass people. But what I'm trying to point out to you is there are people within Black and Latin culture that are like those two you just saw right there. They're provoking, they go around starting problems, and they do this all based off somebody that they worship. And they worship these people based off narratives that they have with them. And the narrative that seems to be overwhelmingly is hate men like me. Hate them, hate them, hate them. They don't want me, hate them. I never said I didn't want you. I was talking to a beautiful chocolate motherfucker yesterday in the grocery store that knows me very well. She been flirting with me for the longest time. She asked me yesterday, and I swear to God to you, and I put her on camera too, because she's a good girl, good friend of mine. Um, she said yesterday to me, she said, what you give me for Christmas? And I said, I ain't give you nothing for Christmas. I was just fucking with her. And I was like, well, what you want though? And she's just like, just give me a hug. And I gave her a big ass hug right in the middle of the grocery store. And I knew what she wanted. She wasn't trying to upstage the light skinned chick she worked with. She just wanted to show motherfuckers, see, this motherfucker's checking for me too. And why not? Why not me? I'll do that for her. She's a pretty little chocolate motherfucker. Too pretty. I mean, dog skin. My daughter's mother was Haitian. She was dog as his cord. Dog is my eyebrows. I don't have no problem with black women. I have a problem with anarchistic, provoking, nasty, belligerent, troublemaking, shitty, not good for the culture, not beneficial for motherfuckers in society type motherfuckers. That's what I don't have I have a problem with. And if you can't distinguish between that, then you're not as intelligent as you claim you are. And that's the problem. We have a lot of people out here with this fasodo or what do you call it? Fasado intelligence, that give absolutes as in their absolutes in their descriptions as the way the world works. And I'm like, well, who accredited you to give us any advice about anything? Yeah, I'm gonna keep following the advice of some of these unaccredited, uneducated, want to be intelligent motherfuckers, and it's gonna end you up in a hole. A lot of these people that are on here giving you advice, they've never done anything in their whole entire life except for pick up this fucking phone and start talking to you. This is a highlight moment of their life. We're talking about people for the past 10. Listen, let me tell you something. I've said shit about Sarnetta before, right? But let me tell you something about Sarnetta. Sarnetta been out here working for 10, 15, 20 years, if not more. That's why I talk shit to Sarnetta, because I expect more from that motherfucker other than sitting around having debates and shit like that. Nigga, you in your early 50s. You ain't 70 some fucking years old. Quit running around like you're 70. What I'm saying is, Sonetta could be doing more besides sitting behind a screen and shit. Get your ass out in the street like you was the other day. I came looking for y'all in Harlem, and then now finally you want to come back out in Harlem. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the men that are prominence, the people listen to their voice. Get your motherfucking monkey ass out in the street. You said Harlem look different now. Change it back to the way it was. The same shit you taught us, reteach your own motherfucking self. Don't forget. That's the point. Can't get nothing done sitting behind a motherfucking desk. Talking about this another studios. We gonna talk about what's going on outside. Make that make sense, nigga. The women, on the other hand, I seem to harbor on this. There are three different sets of women that are online. Let's start with the latter. There are the women online that actually want to see change and want to see things corrected and changed around in turn. Those are those women on here. I congratulate those women. I like those women and I love those women. There are also men on here that fit the same facet, so we don't want to leave them out. Then there are women on here that are cantankerous, bitter, angry, mad, and this is an outlet for them to pour all that out into society and not have to worry about any of the repercussions as far as how people look or may assume that they are and how they may be. And then you have the third type. The third type is the worst. This is the man or the woman that's bent on destruction. You understand what I'm saying? And destruction lies at their feet. And no matter what happens, okay, no matter what happens, whether it's good or bad, they're going to make the most in the negative out of all of it. And that, my friends, is where I find not only Cynthia G, but many other people in her facility fall under. They don't want anything better for us, they want things better for them. It's a narcissist approach. And they will fool these women into thinking that I'm collectively for you girls. I love you girls. But no, they're for themselves and for their own fucking pockets. And if we're taking away from you, that's why I have a problem with a motherfucker when I spent only 2 times mentioning motherfucking Cash App in a 3 hour long fucking video. And you telling me you better no. No, bitch, you're jealous. You're jealous because I can command attention and you can't. You insulted my audience last night talking about you only got 10 people in here. You don't even understand how this shit works as far as YouTube works. YouTube sequesters a lot of people that have high viewership ratings. A lot of people. Some of the biggest fucking YouTubers out there get sequestered for their views. This is the way it works. Do not forget, this is a white ran fucking website. This is not ran by niggas. Which I don't know why they don't understand. We're all on the plantation right now. Don't you get it? We're on the plantation. On a smaller plantation, but we're on the plantation right now. Anytime we set up a video over here, we're on the plantation. All right? We don't own this shit. And it's only a free account, and the possibility of not being able to use that free account anymore. That's the only thing that distincts you from being on this motherfucker daily. This is Massa platform. And don't you fucking forget it. You don't have any ownership over here. There's this whole thing where you're running around trying to dictate. These women, some of these women are running around trying to dictate not only what men say, but what other women say too. We never talk about that. A lot of these same black women we're talking about go around and their primary targets seem to be other black women. I go to the Crimson Cure's page, the Crimson Cure, that's spelled Crimson. Go check her out, the Crimson Cure. She has a lot of interesting things to say. I share her from time to time. I just haven't lately, but I will share her some more. Women go over there and attack her for things she says. Danica Marie, you go check her out. Women attack her for things she say. I know several other women. I don't want to point them out too much because some of the women in here that follow me evidently actually only follow me so they can harass or monitor what I say and then go back and repeat it or whatever the fuck else they do. That's another problem we have here on YouTube is a lot of people following people trying to dictate their and navigate what they say and like a lot of them I find if they don't like what you say, the way they protest it is interrupting your stream, leaving nasty comments, and with my case, the nastier comment you leave and the more unarticulated comment you leave, it gets retracted by YouTube. Nobody ever sees it. So you wasting your time. It's like I told Shorty last night when she was on my live and she started trying to interrupt the broadcast. I'm like, sweetie, you must really honestly really think I'm a fucking idiot, right? I start arguing with you. I take away from the premise of talking about this chick. I get it. Now that's not happening here. So I told her not cursed. I said, keep on typing. Because the only thing you're doing is you're fulfilling exactly what I said you were. And that's what she did. She came in, she acted nice, and then she started typing narcissistic shit. And then, more importantly, she lied and couldn't back up a lie. She expected my viewers to turn on me because of her gender and color and actually say something that didn't happen. The woman said I called her something in the shit, and I didn't call her anything. I didn't even call Cynthia G something in it. I called other people all kinds of names, but I didn't call her anything. And she took this victim approach and she tried to run with it. And what she was trying to do was garner sympathy from my followers. And I told my followers at the time, I said, to everybody that's listening right now, you can go back and watch the broadcast. I said, everybody's listening right now, please type in and tell me if you heard me say something directly to this woman that I'm talking to. And I mean, I was utterly nice. I will never be that nice again based on the reaction that I got. Now, if I get that reaction, I'm never taking that approach of being that nice again. That was World War III, bitch. You got something to say? Let's say it. See, ladies, I'm gonna put you onto another side of the game real quick. Then I'm gonna talk about myself some more, and then I'm gonna get up off of here. Let me put y'all onto another side of the game real quick. A lot of you ladies run around on a daily basis here on YouTube and you feel real safe saying whatever the fuck you want to and blah, blah, blah. And I heard a few of them say, oh, well, I got a pistol. Bitches have people out here with AR 15s. They will chop your ass up like cheese. You and that little punk ass pistol you got won't see the light of day. You're trying to pull that motherfucker. Go ahead and get cheese on them. A lot of you women, I'm not talking about for me, but I'm talking about you don't realize the stakes that are up against you while you're up online talking to people. See, the main reason I know a lot of these women ain't never had no daddy around them or whatever, because your daddy would have told you something. Men kill people. Yeah, your daddy would have told you. Your uncle would have told you. Your granddaddy would have told you that men kill people. Historically, Cain killed Abel. Men kill people. And in some cases, women kill people too, but more predominantly, men kill people. And throughout the depths of time, we've seen century after century after century of murders, atrocities, abuse, or whatever. I don't want to throw that out. That's why I wanted to make sure I highlighted that first and stop for a second. Because I don't want to throw any of that shit out to the side and be like, oh, that's justified, though. No, that's not justified at all either. If you beat a woman, rape a woman, something like I'm not, there's no excuse for that. Fuck you and everybody lives in your family, in your house. No, I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about women that historically, and if you look at a lot of movies, especially movies from 1920s and 10s and shit like, well, not 1910s, but 1920s, a woman say something out of line, a man would come through it. Shut up. Ah. That used to be the sound effect. Ah. These were white men doing this. This wasn't men of color. Then later on, you would see it more and more depicted with Jean Harlow and all these other different actors. I went to school for film, so I'm into like, shit like that. But you would see all these different artists from Jean Harlow to everybody else. And one of these women said something out of line or did something out of line. First thing one of the white men would do would be, uh. This is how the white man gained their servitude. And this is why also the white man got the Feminist Party invented in the 1880s. But nevertheless, this is why a lot of their women fall into suit. Has nothing to do with money. Has to do with conditioning. And money is used as a lubricant. Instead, a lot of women nowadays, and I hate to say this, but I'm noticing this not just from black women. People want to underline black women in this equation, but it's not black women. It's more so, I say the most persistent ones and the most thirsty ones are the East Indian women and Asian women. Asian women and East Indian women are out here left and right trying to marry white men because of financial stability and two, for them anchor babies. Anchor baby. You know what an anchor baby is? Let me explain to you. Anchor baby is when it was a law put into place right after Vietnam or whatever, and it stated basically it was a provision in an amendment. It wasn't a law; it was just an amendment to a pre-existing law. But it stated basically if you had a child in this country but wasn't or were a U.S. citizen, wasn't a U.S. citizen, that child would now become a U.S. citizen based on the pure simple fact that you're here already, which meant the touch of what is it called, touch of land law. They did this really for my folks, Cubans, to be quite honest with you. They amended it a second time for Cubans because when Castro kicked all the Cubans out, and they did the same thing with Haiti and other countries, but Cuba was highlighted because of the drugs. I'm not talking about no fucking Scarface movie or nothing like that. This really happened. And so Fidel Castro, if you're not familiar, he kicked out all the undesirables, the prostitutes, the drug addicts, the gays, everybody in Cuba that he thought that wasn't worth anything, rapists and murderers amongst them too. And he put them basically off the islands and you know, how can I say it? Fend for yourself. Now, if you guys will know this journey from Miami Shore, and I'm gonna get back into what I was saying, but I want you guys to understand something. For the Miami Shore to Cuba, we're talking about at least, I don't know how many kilometers, but many of kilometers. I mean, the whole trip itself, if you're sailing in a boat, it could take you anywhere possibly from a day to a day and a half. You know, so these people are significantly on the water in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean for damn near a day and a half or 2 days, and they're at the southernmost tip of the Caribbean islands, like Puerto Rico, Cuba, Dominican Republic, and Haiti. They stick out further than all the other Caribbean islands. And then the other one after that is the U.S. Virgin Islands, and then the other one out there is the Andorras. How do you say it? The Andorras Mountains or something. It's a Dutch colony that's down there. And then another one is Serta, which is also a Dutch colony where it's black people that speak German and Dutch. I know a friend of mine that's from Serta. Shout out to her, Mitch Bay BX. You know what I mean? I want to shout out Serta real quick or whatever. But those islands sit off the furthest from mainland coming in. Jamaica, Barbados, all them, they kind of like grouped in, you know what I mean? And then the other one, other than that, that's furthest off would be Brazil. Well, you have women from all these islands, and one thing that stands out in all these islands is these women have been colonized. Many of them come from poverty, sheer poverty, especially like you talking about Jamaica or somewhere like that. These people, they grew up in the fucking Ocho Rios in the jungle and shit like that. And a lot of people in Cuba and Dominican Republic, same thing. They grew up in that way called it campos. And tú sabes, la gente latino, un campo. And la gente, la jíbaro, la jíbara. All right. So these are country people that grew up in the sticks. They don't, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't know nothing. Claro que sí. Tú sabes, la gente latino, huh? Claro. So these people, they like grow up in the country with goats and chickens and shit. No different than somebody down south. So they have a very skewed opinion, a lot of times limited education as far as things go, you know? And like these people to try to escape poverty, they will try to date up. That's really the term we're looking at here. Dating up. Okay. Sound familiar to you? Because it's the same notion that goes on here in the United States. Okay. And for some reason or another, because white men are viewed, which I've heard a white woman say now three, four times, white men are some of the most failed men in the United States. Based on the fact that there's so many of them that you highlight 10 or 15 of them and you try to some stuff, you try to antidote that with the whole culture, which is really not the truth. What I'm saying is so many white men are actually failures. And so many white women as well are failures. Letting still and I mean failures in all different types of degrees. Like, okay, if you're a plumber, or and I'm not making fun of plumbers, or you're a guy that works at the local Dunkin' Donuts, or you're a white guy that works at the local Burger King. Last night, y'all saw me do a video on this white guy. He came around the corner. He was claiming he was the manager at the Stop and Shop. And he thought he was big shit. He thought he was big shit because he was a white guy. He didn't realize that your position holds authority over anything. You know what I mean? But he felt the need based on that little bullshit ass position. Yeah, y'all please hit those like buttons too. It's enough of y'all in there. Hit that like button. He thought off that little bullshit ass fucking position that he had. That what he was really trying to do was trying to impress the woman that was in front of him, which you could see was Latina. I was doing a live, quick live, and I think I was talking about Travis Scott or something. I was telling everybody I'm about to go live after I leave. Was up? The video's still up, and so this white man and this Latino woman who was very brown skinned, she looked at me at first because she was trying to see what I was going to do, and his intentions were to get me mad so he would look like the sane individual that was in control or whatever. You give these motherfuckers power or take it away. So I took away his power. And the way I took away his power was I insulted him. The second way I took away his power was I pointed the camera at him and put him in the camera so people would know who the fuck I was talking to. So every time you hear me say this cocksucker motherfucker, they're reminded of your cocksucker ass. And I hope people that see it locally come into your store and be like, oh, you the cocksucker that fucking interrupted him. This is all based off of people having the notion of going up against you based on what women are putting out here, like Cynthia G and many others. You are adding to the fuel. You understand what I'm saying? Now, there was a couple other things that went into variables. Some people like to fuck with you when you're recording or whatever, whatever. But the fact that this motherfucker looked right at me when I was saying what I was saying, and you could hear me from when you was walking around the corner, let me know they did it on purpose. Now he did this on purpose with this Latina girl because what he wanted to do was show off in front of the Latina girl and be like, basically, like the slave master did at one time. I can take your I can take your woman based on my resources. And basically, when you have women like Cynthia G or other women that come on and try to distastefully and disorientedly and unfairly and unjustly sit there and try to unpack a whole group of men based on your bad experiences, that you could have had anybody in the motherfucking world you chose to. Matter of fact, let's put it this way. You could have went to one of them ex people that you knew were Forelli and got pregnant by one of them. No, instead you went and got pregnant by Robert Perkins, a hood booger. And what you felt to do was, see, this is dedication. I'll give you that much, Cynthia G, because it took real dedication. I think you got pregnant by that boy on purpose. So you could use that as a pre-emphasis to get online and be like, look, I got pregnant by a loser. Feel sorry for me and see what I mean? All these men are the same. Robert Perkins doesn't look like a college graduate. Robert Perkins doesn't look like a man of opulence. Robert Perkins doesn't look like a man that's done too much in his life. Robert Perkins has 4 fucking kids by 3 different women. Robert Perkins probably works a regular fucking job and has never had anything to excel him out of a collegiate area ever in his fucking life. And I'm not dissing the dude, it's just what it is. You can look at him and tell. You know what I mean? This was a guy that was 30 plus something years old, still sagging his fucking jeans and wearing Timberland boots. I think she went and got pregnant by that boy on purpose. I think she did that so she could show in the rearing of the child and the upbringing of the child in 5 to 10 years from now, look how I did so much as a single mother, da da da. And he wasn't shit. There are people that get off on shit like that. And I know it sounds crazy. We're talking about a woman that might possibly be mentally ill and undiagnosed as being mentally ill. See, the one thing about me, I can admit to my shit. I talk to a psychiatrist twice a week, have been doing so for the past year. I went through a lot. You know, sometimes I tell you about this, but I think right now I can show you guys because I have my shirt off. Is it on this side of the camera or the other side? I think it's this side of the camera. Yeah. Y'all see those scars on my shoulder right there? Hold on, I'm gonna try to get a little bit better. That's a little bit better. But y'all see those scars? There's one right there, if you can see it. There's another one right beside it. Those are actually stab wounds. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna try to hold this. There's 3 of them. Light's not that good. This one right there, that's a little deeper. This one right here, and this one was just finally a slice. But yeah, 3 of them, and that don't happen. And I'm not gonna put nobody out there, but I found out somebody was cheating on me. We got into an argument. Yes, we did. This was the second time you were cheating on me because I wasn't available at home as often as I should be. Oh well. You live in a nice neighborhood, don't you? You hungry? I never gave up on women of color even after that happened. You know, I could easily get up on here and bash women of color and be like, y'all ain't shit. Look how violent y'all and the blah, 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 blah. I don't do that. I don't do that. And based on the fact that I don't do that, I take the hit on getting any type of monetary responses. Even when I talk for them, they don't give a shit. I don't get any type of compensation whatsoever for the efforts I put in. Nothing. Nothing. Not even a thank you. You know, I know I've to be quite honest with you, most of my viewers don't even talk to me, you know, except for the ones that have been there from the beginning. The other ones that kind of just sit around and observe and shit like that. But the funny thing is, man, like I say, and I say it again, back to the islands and everything like that or whatever. I think this gumption and this notion that Black Americans think that everybody is the same as them, like there's got to be some common ground. And I think that's out of desperation. That's what I think. I think it's out of desperation, I'll explain to you what I mean by that. It's only taken this approach is only taken by people that I find that are one uneducated or not very educated, two have some type of fucking narcissist view that they're trying to push via social media. Now, let me stop right there when I say this. A lot of these people that are online right now, see, this is the thing with me. I could go into the middle of Times Square right now, right? And I could say everything that I'm saying to you guys right now, and I guarantee you, I could command the audience to circle around me and they will listen to me. You know why I know this? Because I've done it a million fucking times, right? Like literally, I've done it where people will stop and they will listen to me or whatever because I actually have something to say. Okay. In a normal world, we would call this public speaking. Okay. A lot of these women, they're or men and men as well, they're not versed enough to know what public speaking is. They just basically take talking points, they borrow words, and they try to contrive them together and make this up appear like they're fucking intelligent. They're not fucking intelligent at all. They're actually stupid as fuck. They have nothing as far as comprised thought. They have nothing as far as intelligent execution of their thoughts. They're very weak as far as articulation. And one of the things I notice more so than anything, they're very quick to dismiss you, no matter what you are, man, woman, whatever. They're real quick to dismiss you based on the fact that you're not saying what I want to hear, so therefore I'm going to dismiss you. You're not saying it in the tone that I like, so therefore I'm going to dismiss you. And only a truly ignorant person would do that because, see, I can listen to people that I don't like and I can still hear points in what they're saying that would make sense. Is that sound right? I can still find points in them that would make sense, meaning that I can find things about them and I could say, you know what, this person ain't all that bad, or this person's got a point there, whatever, whatever. But somebody that's bent on nothing but destruction, they won't do that. They won't do that. They don't, and actually, it's a sign of intelligence if you can't do that. But people that are just based on absolutes and shit like that, you're never going to get that out of them. So back to what I was saying. I've had so many people like before come on and attack me, say what they're gonna say or whatever, whatever. And I'm not here to have a pity party. I really don't give a fuck. I'll say it again. There is very little you can say to me. Like, first of all, I would have to value your opinion. And then second of all, I would have to value you as a person to value your opinion. And then third, more importantly enough, you have to watch whose opinion that you're bothered by or that you're paying attention to, and is it of opinion that is vast in actual intelligence. You know what I mean? Um, a lot of people weave around opinions and weave around people here on YouTube based on popularity and clout chasing. They don't do it based on they actually believe what the person is saying. Oh, that person got 8,000 followers. Let's go over there and follow them. Or that person got this many people liking their posts. They must be the shit. Let's follow them. These are people that literally, honestly, and truthfully, a lot of them never will be anything in life other than a follower. The term and the suggestion itself tells you just that you're a follower. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about everybody. 'Cause there's some good fucking followers. That part is obvious. No, I'm talking about men and women who have a trajectory daily in their life or start shit with people for no reason, going around bothering people for no reason, starting shit and just playing shit the way it is for no reason. And I'm trying to tell one of you motherfuckers, if y'all keep doing that, you're gonna get severely hurt. I'm trying to tell you. You're running around talking shit, and a few of you he claim, I got a pistol now. I got a pistol. Like I saw Cynthia G, she had a video up. I got my pistol. Bitch, AR or anything above that little punk ass pistol that you got that ain't got no hair trigger. The only hair trigger is a Sig Howe. You know what I mean? And that caliber of weapon, somebody would chop that whole motherfucking house down with you and that baby in it. And that's the part you missing. I said it again for you, Cynthia. Somebody would chop that whole motherfucking house down with you and that baby in it. And you out here, Charles of World War III, whatever. Who got their baby? That's what I'm wondering. Because a woman that got a newborn baby can't be sitting around. Because your baby got to be maybe 2, 3 years old now. A woman that had a new child wouldn't be sitting around online talking the shit that she talking every day. A woman that had a black child wouldn't be sitting there trying to denigrate men of color every day on that channel. I just don't understand it. That's why I said this woman must have a mental problem. And should her child be taken away from her? Hmm? I think that's a question we should ask. Should her child be taken away from her? This seems like an unfit mother. Have we never come to the conclusion of that? I don't care how much you try to articulate or make it look like it makes sense what you're saying or whatever, whatever. The guys in what you're saying, I know the people I grew up around, the guys in what you're saying in the courtroom, most people would look at you and probably have a conclusion of there's something wrong with this woman that she needs to be on some fucking type of medication. And I really believe that. Nobody sits online all day, every day like that and just gripes and complains about men of color and finds shit out. And then some of the videos you have up are confusing. You had another video up where then you talk about white women and black men and Latin women and black men or whatever, or black women and black men for that matter. But then you to prove your point, you put up a video which was asinine as hell. You put up a video siding with Khloe Kardashian when it came to Tristan and him having a new baby. I said, okay, so you're friends, you want to be friends with the Kardashians. You hate interracial dating, you hate it. Wait, the truth is, Cynthia G, you want to be a white woman. Everything about you. Listen, can we just be honest? I grew up around black girls that actually grew up in environments where it would, perfect example. I didn't grow up with this chick, but I'm gonna give you a perfect example. There are two types of Candace Owens, okay, that exist in suburban neighborhoods. All right. And I'm gonna explain what I mean by that. Here in Connecticut, we have a whole bunch of Candace Owens. Okay, there's a lot of Candace Owens running around Connecticut. So Candace Owens' personality to us here in Connecticut is not out of the norm. Does that make sense? She's more normal than you think she is. But there's a lot of variables in it. First of all, Connecticut is one of the most. It is the most intelligent state in the United States, meaning we have the most educated people in the whole entire United States right here in this state. If you don't believe me, look that up right now. We're also called the Nutmeg State. So we have a lot of intelligent people here and throughout the tri-state. Another thing that adds on to it, we have some of the most prestigious colleges here. One of them including most predominantly Yale. Yale is where I lived at before. It was about an hour away, and now it's about roughly about an hour away from here now too. We have House of Tonic, we have UConn, so on and so forth, right? There are a lot of Owens in fucking state of Connecticut, and I ran into girls that had similar attitudes as Candace Owens all my life, pretty much all my adult life. So I'm kind of used to that personality, but they come in different spurts. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They come in different versions and different units. So the Candace Owens edition is a more narcissistic, belligerent, semi nasty, but quasi infectionate type. Okay. Then you have another type that is the Candace Owens type, but she's a little bit more compassionate, a little bit more, roundabout. Hey guys, what are you doing? Oh my God, types. And then we have the third type of Candace Owens types. These are usually the ones that are introverts, meaning that they stay inside all the time. Not extroverts, but introverts. They like to stay inside, cuddled up, read the book, having the milk or whatever, and have a real condescending attitude pretty much when they're in society because pretty much they're loners just off a G. Okay. So those are three types of Candace Owens personalities that we have in the city or the state or whatever. So I'm more than familiar with black women that grow up suburban and sometimes they happen to fluctuate. They date and Latin women that grow up suburban as well. I don't want to leave a few of them out. And they'll end up dating white or it is, but it's natural. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of counties around here that have a surplus of only white people. And then, like, if you go into certain neighborhoods, in these white neighborhoods, there's maybe like 6 or 7 black families that have always been there, or 4 or 5 different Latin families, or 1 or 2 Indian families, or 1 or 2 Asian families. You understand what I'm saying? And they grow up in this environment, they grow up around this surroundings. They grow up talking the way that they talk and hanging and going to the spots that they hang or whatever, whatever. Meanwhile, the people that live in the projects or the ghetto or whatever, whatever, they grow up a whole totally different way. But sometimes and eventually in society, those two, based on however they grew up, they would clash with each other or they would run into each other, whatever the case may be. And then that's go time. What have you learned? What has been your life, you know, whatever? And it's good, it's no good either or. It's no good on the opulent side that you grew up real well and you don't know people that are outside of your demographic. And then there's no good if you grew up in the projects and that's all you know, and you try to fester and push this to people every day. You got to be hood. Like there are guys that walk around. I'm gonna get back to what I was saying, but there are guys that walk around, right? And if you are dressed a certain way or you allude that you look a certain way, you got a certain look on your face or whatever the case may be, but most of the time it's because you're a man of color. There are other men of color, both black and Latin, that will walk around all day, every day with this try to look tough guy face or whatever, whatever. I fuck them down every fucking time. I told this kid this the other fucking night. I said, if you keep, I was in a laundromat. I said, if you keep staring at me like that, me and you are going to fight. I didn't hesitate. And I walked to his face and told him, if you keep staring at me, you and I are gonna go outside for 5 minutes. And it quit. But why were you doing that in the first place? I got why. Because he was looking at a jacket I had on that is now 2 years fucking old that I got on sale. And he was based his whole fucking decision making based on the jacket. That's shit women do. So I said, oh, you was raised by a whole bunch of women, were you? A lot of these girls that I said that grew up naturally, like Candace Owens here in Connecticut, many other places in the United States. California is another place that comes to mind. Florida is another place that comes to mind. These girls are acting naturally the way that they were raised and how they are. Okay. Candace Owens also has a lot of, what is her, I think her grandmother's from the Barbados or something like that, or St. Vincent, one of the islands down there. But Candace Owens has island heresy in her too, which is a lot of times, equated to the English, in his and her majesty. So there's a lot of things that go into that too. They're heavily influenced by the kings and the queens over in the islands. So if you're talking about the ones that were colonized by the English, French, Dutch. So these girls that are pretending to try to be like the Candace Owens types or whatever, I can see right through them because I know the natural thing when I see it, the real deal when I see it. Does that make sense? So I know when I see one of these chicks pretending. And a chick like Cynthia G, she's definitely pretending. I would tell you what I mean. First of all, the first thing that sticks out to me with your pretending is that bouge ghetto accent. Okay, let me tell you what I mean by that bouge ghetto made up accent. You'll hear this accent in girls like Nika Knight. You'll hear accents like this in the girl Paris Milan. You'll hear accents like this in that fucking, what's the name, in which they'll try to put on this rendered, false, which you would call white voice. And it's an epic fail. Like, and it is this accent that doesn't exist. And the only place it does exist is among a segment of these type of black women that are trying to put out a portrayal that there's something that they completely are not. And I've seen it with the men too, but I don't date fucking men. But I've seen it with the guys too. They'll have this ghetto accent and they'll try to invoke it on other people and make it sound like it's solid and it's not. Dude, you're a fucking fraud. All right. You didn't grow up out. No offense, but you didn't grow up like me. You know what I mean? And so if you're sitting around and you're pretending that you did, or you're telling people that you did, or you're giving people the ascension that you did, then you're a fucking fraud. And like, what use do we have for a fraud in the culture? Because unilaterally, if you take someone like Candace Owens and or someone that's like many of the other women. There's another black woman that's on Fox News that's kind of perturbed and the same thing. And I believe same thing with her. That she's a tall, skinny black lady. She's got what's the name here? Very intelligent, very articulate woman. But I can look at that woman and tell that that woman grew up like that. See, there are black women that grew up in opulence. There are black women that grew up catered. There are black women that grew up and they're on the third, fourth generation of college graduates. See, I know them when I see them. Cynthia G and a lot of these other mouthy bitches that are on there, they're not that. They're not that at all. And including Candace Owens, who ain't that either. Candace Owens, you come from poverty, bitch. Let's stop pretending. All right. And a lot of these other chicks that are on there talking all wild and having this blue ghetto attitude and say what you have to understand. Say, and then they like, when I say blues ghetto, because they try to articulate this, but at the same time, they come on sounding ghetto as fuck. Blues ghetto. And you can tell it from a mile away. People don't talk like that. Nobody talks like that. You talk like that because it's made up. That's fine. But don't try to put us as this is the precedence that the rest of us are taking. The rest of us should start talking like this too if we want to be semi elite. Because the elite don't accept the way you talk. Now, if I took Cynthia G into a regular room and it was, let's say, a group of white people, I'm just throwing out a theory here, and many other women too. If I took you into a room and you positioned and pointed out and gave all your opinions like you do online to a uncured audience, okay? I mean uncured, meaning like they haven't been, subjected to your shit previously. They're uncured. If I presented that to a white crowd, they will look at you and be like, this bitch needs to be locked up and locked up immediately. And don't set no release date until she is cured. And a lot of you will be there. And I'm talking about white guys, black women, black men, a whole bunch of you motherfucking YouTubers will be there. But this is just the case in point right now. But a whole bunch of you motherfuckers will be right there in that crazy room as far as YouTubers. You understand? So make no mistake about it. When I say somebody like Cynthia or any of these girls or whatever that are on there, whatever, I say this because I have to have protection of myself. The words that you're saying are dangerous. The things that you're promoting are dangerous. Whether some of them be true, whether some of them be false. I never even got into an argument with you about that. Nor do I sit here and say you should be taken off of YouTube and all this. Da, 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 da. Do I think there's any redemption for you as far as me personally and what I've seen from you or whatever? No, I wouldn't use a fucking bank pen after you. All right. But what I will say is this: as far as your audience is concerned, you owe that not only to the young girls that watch your channel, but you also that to the young boys that are out here that may succumb to some of the words that you're saying. Now, I want to ask you this: if some little kid gets killed, some little black kid gets killed, what would you probably say? Oh well, right? You probably would. I can base off the reactions you get on your channel. If some little kid under 10 years old got killed, you probably be like, oh, well. You probably hate your nephews if you have any nephews or little male cousins. I can imagine you probably hate them too, right? See how this doesn't make sense? I'm pretty sure you hate your grandfather too. See how that doesn't make sense? So the same token that a lot of women of color that are in her position will use to be like, you hate black, well, bitch, you hate black men. And you show it. You hate men of color that date white women, yet and still you yourself want to be a white woman. And a terrible rendition of it. You insulting white women. White women don't act like you. I've dated white women. White women don't act like you. They wouldn't even have the conversations you have. And then you use a piece of poor white trash, Euro trash, in the beginning of your videos to try to prove some point. Talking about this poor white trash chick that she had on there said, first of all, I would ask, I'd be like, bitch, how many men of color have you dated? And if she said none, that right there ends the conversation. If I asked her that question, so you're not very intelligent. And then two, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain it for you. And a couple of her highlighted videos, she took some clip of some white girl that was pure Euro trash, had a heavy, thick accent. You could tell this was like first generation or whatever. So a lot of first generation Europeans, let's just throw it out in the open. A lot of them are racist as fuck, all right? They come from racism. They come from countries that have never seen people of color in their life. Countries like Prague, Czechoslovakia, Albania. I lived around Albanians. Albanians in the Bronx will walk past you every day and they don't speak to anybody but other Albanians. Okay? That's it. I've seen Czech people walk past me in the Bronx when I used to live there. They were not talk to anybody other than other Czech people. Now, I have some Albanians, after a while, they get to know you, they will speak and have close conversations with you in spurts, but they will never fuck with you like that. I have many of Italian friends. I was with two of my Italian friends on Saturday, right? When I went into another area with them or whatever, when I was hanging with them, Yeah, there was a little tension there, but it wasn't tension based on my color. It was more tension based on who the fuck's this guy you're bringing around. You see what I mean? So it doesn't always have to be about racism with them. It's just sometimes it's the preference of them being around their people. But with this particular bitch, I could tell that she took the clip from. This wasn't a woman that dated interracially at all. In fact, she was just in a conversation with a man in the car that happened to be of color just because the conversation was going on, not because of the pure simple fact that she was interested in him or whatever. So in the car, in this clip that Cynthia G keeps on putting up over and over and over again, you see this black man who's in the car with her, who's really not that attractive of a guy. Like I would have liked to see her. Another reason too that she had, I have to respectfully, well, you can disagree with me if you like to. I grew up around whites. I know what I'm talking about. In this clip, this Euro trash, it's not all about race. And that's why y'all keep losing because y'all have been fed this shit since the slave days that is all about race. And that fact that fear keeps you in check. I'll say it for you again. You've been fed this even in your color hues, light skin to dark skin. You still practice it to this day. The antithesis of race is what's used to control you. I've had a white man tell me that now 5, 6 times. The prerequisite of race is used to control you, and every other race knows this except for y'all. So, sir, I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree with you on that, and I would encourage you to ask some white people that since we talking about some white people. I grew up around white people. Where'd you grow up? In Virginia, Virginia people are totally different from people in the Northeast. Even if we're looking at people from the perspective of the Civil War, there's a divisiveness enough. So you can't compare Virginia to Connecticut and the tri-state. I'm sorry. Even with the colonies, there's 13 colonies in the Northeast. There's 13 colonies in Virginia. They're not the same. Um, Growing up with white people in Virginia, I lived in Virginia before, and growing up with white people in Virginia are very uprightly racist. I give you a perfect example of me when I was growing up. When I was in fourth or fifth grade, I had a friend. His name was David Pierce. Right? Let me show you the difference. I had a friend that was his name was David Pierce, and he was never racist before in his life. Okay, but what I found out was his parents were, and David sooner or later. Have you lived in Connecticut? Okay. Well, I used to like you. Let's get him out of here. I'm not doing that. I don't argue with people. You've never lived in Connecticut. You're trying to talk about Connecticut. That doesn't make sense. I've lived in Virginia. So I had a friend named David Pierce. And David, unfortunately enough, started getting into the same type of fucking ideology as we got older. And as we got older, I started figuring out that David was becoming a racist. Okay. Now, what you have in Connecticut is you have bigots. We have a lot of bigots up here, some bigots. But what I find is you will never find it to the degree and the racism that you find in Virginia. In fact, many of those people that were part of that insurrection, they were from Virginia. Many of those people, in fact, and many of the laws that go on in Virginia, because I see them very quite oftenly. I still have family in Virginia, and I still have family in other places. But in particular, Virginia, if you watch the things that the governor has done, some of the locals have done down there, some of the crimes that go on down there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And like I say this as having family there. You'll find that ain't nothing much changed. Virginia was one of the first states in the Union and the first of the 13 colonies. And that was discovered by James. Was it James or John? I think it was James. And then his brother John came back in a separate voyage and discovered the 13 colonies up here, everything from Maine all the way down here to fucking Connecticut. So it's two brothers that discovered both sets of the colonies or whatever, but never try to compare the Northeast and the South and their tones. They're very different, and the reasons they have their tones, whether they be in racism, are very different. Very, 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 very different. The tones of racism that are in the Northeast are more so are the fear of at one time they're gonna take our jobs, they moving into our neighborhoods. Da, 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 da. Where the tones from down south in their racism were more historic. Do not forget there were Southerners that were running from the original 13 colonies to the new 13 colonies that escaped slavery and the secession that was attempted by Texas and many other places in the South. There's an inquiry going on about Texas right now. If you're not familiar with it, with the state of Texas and its governor is being sued by some of their interaction into fucking politics as far as voting is concerned and the skewed voting practices that they have. Same thing happened with Georgia. Same thing happened with Florida. Same thing happened with a lot of the Bible Belt states that you have down south, including Mississippi, Memphis, and all these other places that you have down south, which I'm more than enough familiar with. So if you've never lived in Connecticut or you don't currently live in Connecticut, don't talk about Connecticut politics. I've lived in both of them and I know how both of them run. And I can tell you right in fact that a white person down south and growing up with white people up north is very different. First of all, you don't have an abundance of Italians and Greeks in fucking Virginia. Let's start there. You know what I mean? Very different. So anyway, moving on. I'm sorry I had to get rid of that brother, but yeah, I can't do that. I can't do those. I just unhit him, but I had to put him in timeout because I knew he was gonna keep on writing stuff. But no, brother, you don't be worried about it. You still here, and I want to make sure that I read his last little message he put here. What did he put here last? Connecticut is extremely racist too. Okay, but anyway. We have guestafarians on here. I don't do guestafarians. That's what I'm gonna start calling them. Guestafarians. If you've never had the experience, stop guessing. You gotta stop doing this guessing shit. Motherfuckers want to guess about things and don't have the experience, and it's fucking dangerous. Some people are gonna like what I have to say. Some people are not gonna like what I have to say. Oh well. I don't care. I think it needs to be said. I think some people out here just really have a skewed notion and are heading into a fucking brick wall as far as is concerned about life, as far as is concerned about the culture and everything else. You have a lot of people out here that are online right now, particularly women, that are navigating other women and other men into the wrong direction. And I'll be damned if I sit back and continue to watch it happen, continue not to say anything about it. And these grown ass fucking men and grown ass fucking women sit out here and get conjectures and get fucking sermons every day about little kid shit that's not relevant. Some of these people don't even leave their fucking houses. Do you understand that? A lot of these YouTubers, the reason you don't see them outside or you don't see them walking around or doing lives, moving around is because they so want to be Hollywood. They don't care about you. They want to be Hollywood. They want to be seen. It's all about them. They don't care about you. The average YouTuber that's on here, and if they're in the black or Latin area and the white ones too, they care no more than to take your money and y'all give it to people that rehab. Listen, y'all give y'all money to people that sit here and tell you about bullshit and just give you giggles and everything like that or whatever, whatever. What I find out is the more ghetto you act, the more you get rewarded. So I guess I won't get rewarded because I'm not gonna sit up here and and fill people's heads with lies and assumptions and fill their heads with bullshit that really doesn't matter, dude. Like in an aspect of everything, it really doesn't matter. The whole fucking United States is fucking racist. Okay, so it doesn't matter where you live at as far as concern of who's more racist or whatever the case may be. There's racist people all across the country. That's a small argument. And that good brother that was talking to me, though, I had so much faith in, went there. Don't highlight little nitpick shit. That's nitpick shit. Nobody cares about that shit. Who's more racist, Texas or California? Who gives a shit? You still gotta live there. Or did you get the ship? You taking us back to Africa? Is that what you're doing? Mm? You gotta think well rounded before you ask silly ass questions or when you make silly ass statements or whatever. I don't give a shit which one is more racist. They're all racist. Hell, for that matter, Mississippi is more racist than Florida. You know what I'm saying? Are people leaving there? Are they moving out? You know what I mean? Like, are they moving out because of that reason? You know? Anyway, I have a hard time sometimes correlating with people of color. even the ones that call themselves fucking intelligent, because what I find is they're not as intelligent as they think they are. And if they got into a discussion that was of significance with someone that was of white, I I really, and I've seen it a million times, they couldn't keep up. I'll give you a perfect example. I've had situations where I've had, I remember this particularly because of lack of understanding and lack of actually being able to transcend through the conversation. So one day I was in line, and I remember this very rare. I remember this very heavily because it happened before. And this woman swear up and down she was right, right? And she wasn't basing it on what she knew. This was a black woman. She wasn't basing it on what she knew. She wasn't basing it on if she was actually right. She wasn't even basing it on investigating. She was basing it pure simply off assumption. And that's a failure in the black community and Latin community. Assumption. It gets people killed, it gets people hurt, a lot of other things. But her assumption, she just knew in her narcissist mind that she was right, and she felt she was right. So what happened was we are now at the counter and we are now discussing the price of a particular product or whatever. And I'm trying to reiterate to this woman several times, ma'am, the sale just started today. You do realize that the sale starts on Sunday, correct? And she was like, I ain't never been told that. Just getting loud as not just as kid. But when I saw she was trying to show off, is what she kept doing this. She kept going like this, looking at the white people in line. And the white people in line are looking at her like, you've got to be the dumbest bitch on this planet right now because everybody in the store, including the people that don't work here, know the sale starts on Sunday. So she refused to honor the prices or whatever that were listed in the fucking flyer, even though the flyer says Sunday, sales starts Sunday. So I'm like, lady, I'm not going to argue with you no more. Go get the manager. So when I ask her to go get the manager, she does all this yelling in the store. I mean, just totally unprofessional. But she did this based off the fact that her and I were the same color. She felt that as a man, I was the same color. So she didn't have to have any respect for me. She didn't have to listen to me. She didn't have to rationalize anything. Do you think she would have took that same approach with a white person? No, she wouldn't have. She would have been subservient. I'm sorry, Miss Let me go get the manager for you and help you out. I'll be right back. I've seen it a million fucking times. So I can't sit back and fucking side with women like that or whatever, whatever. I can't. Now, that's what I was saying originally. And for the brother interrupted me or whatever, whatever, or guy interrupted me or whatever. Probably somebody else that doesn't donate. People that don't donate always got the most to say, right? They never give me $10, but they got so much to say. If you got a lot to say and you say, listen, don't get in this motherfucker if you ain't never donated and say more than two or three things. Because I'm only gonna roll back to you like one time. I don't give a fuck what you disagree with or nothing like that. I only care about what people donate and disagree with. Other than that, your opinion means shit to me if you have never contributed, helped out, or anything else on this channel. But you go to other channels that you feel clout worthy and you go and donate $500, $200 to literal superstars. So don't come in and ask me no question. And please stop thinking I'm some regular motherfucker that's unpolished, unaccomplished, or whatever, whatever, because you're gonna be sadly fucking mistaken. All right. I am not one of these regular motherfuckers that's never done anything in their whole complete life and wait until now to get on fucking YouTube. I'm not that guy. Understand what I'm saying? So please don't approach me as that. And that's what a lot of Cynthia G supporters and a lot of these other goofy bitches that I've said things against or whatever, whatever, based on their diatribe and what they have on their channels. I'm not trying to control your channels, ladies. I'm just simply pointing out the fact that a lot of the shit that you're saying is aiding to the problem and not helping the problem. You understand? Because if you're putting me in danger or you're backing fucking in a lot of cases what you would call a suggestion or maybe a non-truth for yourself, but you're posing it as a permanent for me and an absolute for me. That shows that you have intention. You understand? I don't know what your intention is or what you hope to get out of it in the end. Or you're trying to make me into some subservient slave under you or something like that that's gonna howl at your feet. But I'll be quite honest with you. I'll kill a couple of you bitches before that happens. I'll be quite honest with you. Before that happens and I live in a society like that, I will get AI and I'll run around here and I'll pop every last one of y'all that I think fit into that format. And I'll do the time for it. And they'll come and interview me. They'll make me a martyr and I'll live out history. and I'll still be more popular than you. But if you think you're gonna change society to the point where you start becoming the aggressors and you start becoming the oppressors or whatever, I can guarantee you, myself and a couple other men, we will purposely go out here and take every last one of y'all one by one if we have to. I can't live in a society like that. Not because it's women ran. No, I can't live in a society where it's oppressively ran and violently ran and ruled by the rule of thumb of using motherfuckers as your weapons because you're too weak to do so yourself. Because see, most of you bitches is fighting with words anyway. You have no real fucking like threat to me or utilizing someone else as a weapon. I'll call the police. Ever heard that one before? I call the police. Why can't you do it? You tough, right? You tough, right? Won't you do it? I'm talking about the women that are in society that fit into this segment that produce nothing but problems. You understand? Many of us are out here looking for solutions. These women produce problems. And the men that follow them, you produce problems too. And that goes for your punk asses too. That goes for your punk asses too. Your mama's raised, mama's boys, sucker, sissy ass motherfuckers, sissies. Straight sissies. Always want to argue with another man. Want to come on like this motherfucker earlier, Michael Grant. You gonna come to a man if you really are a man, you gonna come over here to another man's channel trying to argue about a woman. Nigga, I don't argue about women. I'll pop you in that bitch. Please believe that. I don't care about your little subtle arguments and all that shit. I really don't care about that. What I care about is the imagery, the messages, and things like that. And if you don't think imagery and message means anything, well, they killed Malcolm X over his imagery and message and influence. They killed Martin Luther King over his imagery, influence, and message. They killed JFK over his imagery, influence, and message. They tried to kill Ronald Reagan over his imagery, influence, and message. Now the execution goes down online. My don't go online. Mine goes offline too. And if you ain't ready to get into the shit I'm ready to get into, then I suggest you shut the fuck up and stop coming to my channel trying to motherfucking throw threats. Now I wanna address one motherfucking bitch last night, and I call you a bitch wholeheartedly. You fucking cunt bitch. I had a bitch come in and write a comment. You guys, of course, didn't see it because it was ripped in violence. But like I said, if you go back and watch that video that I threw up last night, I said nothing violent to these ladies. I was trying to be as respectful as I could. Even Michael Grant, when he came in with his sucker ass, I was trying to be respectful of him, who's probably Robert Perkins, punk ass 9 times out of 10. But and if that is you, Robert, that go for your punk ass too, bitch. Now, the funny thing, and if it wasn't, I apologize. The problem is I had somebody come in and write a comment last night, and I took a screenshot of it, and I'm gonna put it up. And they said, "You sucker, punk, bitch ass nigga out here talking about the black woman. I should get my man and his cousins or some shit like that to do you in. They write in what she said, they write in New Jersey. That's what she said. They write in New Jersey. Really? What if I get you first, bitch? You left your real name on your profile. What if I get you first? What if I yoke your ass up, tie you up, and send them a video of your motherfucking ass? What then? What if I put you in the back of a trunk and put a whole bunch of, let's say, pigeons in the trunk with you? Drove you around for the next 2.5 hours and sent them a video of you all packed up, including your face. What do you think they would think then? Scary, huh? Scary. It's gonna be trouble. Is there? 8 pages. 8 pages of crimes. This tough guy using guys as your pawn shit out here in society, it ain't working for me, ladies. It ain't working for me, ain't working for a lot of other people. But to write that was a threat. I wish you would have sent it in an email. So I could have really used it, but screenshot is good enough. But you got to be silly. You left your real name. So I go to a profile on Facebook, kids there. Supposedly, I'm guessing the cousins that she's talking about, which didn't look scary at all. They scary in your town. And I'm thinking to myself, what type of woman contrives and writes some shit like this? This is a woman that wrote this. It's not a man that wrote this. It's not a guy that's on the block or whatever, whatever. This is a woman that wrote this in the guise of a man telling me how she's going to use two men that are her family members as pawns to do whatever they want to me based on the fact that something I said about Cynthia G. And these are the motherfuckers you are inviting as wives, women that you love, and every fucking thing else. These bitches say that to me, she'll kill you too, nigga. She'll kill you too. That's why I have no hesitation on it. That's why I have no hesitation on it. Sorry about that, guys. That's why I have no hesitation on it. Straight up. I walk out. I have no calm, no chill for bitches like that. Women like that need to be the fuck up out of here. Guys like that that support them need to be the fuck up out of here too, no matter how what region. You know, guys don't realize, but I keep trying to tell you, a lot of these boys, and I'll keep saying it, have been raised. And I heard Judge Joe Brown finally say the same goddamn thing too. So shout out to Judge Joe Brown. A lot of these women have been, I mean, these boys have been raised by single moms and they act like fucking women. Now, I know a lot of the ways that I say are unconventional to a lot of you, but I'm telling you in the honest God truth, that might be what you have to do. Might be what I have to do. Some people gonna get what I'm saying. Some people ain't. You know, I gotta talk a little about talking code because, you know, snitches and bitches out here. Yeah, I'm gonna encourage that. Why not? You're encouraging getting me out the way. So I encourage getting you out the way by any means necessary. I leave it like that for that segment that agrees with shit like that. For that segment. I'm not talking about all the women. We have some beautiful, beautiful black women and Latin women that are out here that do the most. They feed men, they clothe men that are in homeless shelters and all kinds of other shit or whatever, whatever. They go out of their way to make sure that men are taken care of or whatever. But I'm talking about these cantankerous ass bitches out here that are bent on nothing but more to destruction. What do you say about them? Do you call them queens too? Do y'all call them queens too? That's not a queen. That's a whore, troublemaker, shit starter, whatever you want to fuck call them. They're a problem. And I say to the river Styx, they go. You know what the river Styx is? Anybody know what the river Styx is? Any literaries out there know what the river Styx is? River Styx in the tale of Dante's Inferno is a river that has a whole bunch of souls within the river. All the souls of regret. They're drowning in their own tears of regret, drowning in their own tears. The river is made up of tears. They're drowning in their own tears of regret, drowning in their own tears of whatever they may have done in life, and they just couldn't get over it. And this is a segue to go from there to the city of greed, in the realm of greed and hell. River Styx. That's spelled Styx. You should look it up. Many of you bitches going there. Many of y'all women are going to hell and just don't know it. There's a strong place in hell. And I think that's why I end this off at. It's a strong place in hell for a lot of you women and men out here that are on YouTube and using this format right here, because this is the devil's tool. Make no mistake about it. The whole internet itself is the devil's tool. It's just how you utilize it. This is the devil's tool. You understand what I'm saying? Have you not noticed since the invention of computers and social media interaction that we have had nothing but catastrophe and confusion since? Really think about it. Prior to that, 20 years ago, we didn't have these problems. Not in depth the way we did. We always had racism. We always had fights and everything like that. But we didn't have people trying to purposely contrive and purposely try to start their day on fights. I don't start my day on fights. I don't do that. That's what those two people wanted to do earlier. They wanted me to get in an argument with them at almost 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm not doing that with you. I'm not doing that with you. Especially if you don't donate. You know what I mean? I'm not arguing with the riffraff. I'm not arguing with the riffraff. Uh-uh. A lot of these people that are out here, and I hate to say it like this, these are not brothers and sisters. These are people that are bent on confusion. They're bent on confusion because they're trying to make a dime off of you. This is the devil's tool right here, YouTube. Okay? Every time you enter into this motherfucker, make sure that you notice that you are now taking on and taking a turn and delving into the abyss. Every time you hop on this motherfucker, including myself, this is a realm of hell. This tool is used to create catastrophe. There was one time in society that us, women and men, we were dancing with each other. Remember that? Used to hold the chick real tight, dance with her. And then slowly as the music started changing, that's what I told you, music is conduit for society. It always has been. Back to the harps, back to Stone Age sounds. It doesn't matter. Music and communication have always been a harmony for society. We all of a sudden start getting this music that moves us away from slow dancing and everything like that, or whatever, whatever, to the point that we're now up against the wall and we just like this. It was at that moment. It was at that moment when that change started, because I remember when that change started, because I came out the butt end of that. I remember going to my 7th grade dance and we were still slow dancing. Try to slow dance nowadays at a dance. People look at you and laugh at you. Y'all slow dance? What the fuck y'all doing? You can't touch her like that. Y'all showing too much y'all showing too much affection. They'll find something crazy to say. This 10, 15 years ago, this was a normal thing. You see, so as love moved more and more out of the society based regimen and was replaced by this newfound technology, which is the internet, which we utilize as a piece of software. The internet is software, it's not hardware, it's software. You understand what I'm saying? Software is, I think hardware is easy because hardware can actually be easily turned on and off. But software is continuous. Even if you have it turned off or have the utensil that, I mean, to have the utility that's used, that uses a software, even if you turn that off, software's still there. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, if you turn your phone completely off, Facebook, Instagram, all that shit is still on your phone. So when you turn it back on, it's still there, and it's quick to log in, utilize, whatever the case may be. Right? We are moving further and further away from being empathetic, not only to one another but to everybody. And we replaced it by this bag mentality, and it was placed and put out, if you ask me, by demon. I'm not gonna say demonic women, but demonic men, demonic LGBT community members, demonic, fucking everybody that fits in that realm of demonic. And they're good people in those realms too, but demonic motherfuckers. Demonic motherfuckers rule in their message on YouTube because this is the motherfucking utensil of the devil. And why y'all can't get that, I don't know. And some people, if you don't know how to hold your power, it'll make you as evil as the devil. Because see, the problem is this is about glamour. You know what the word glamour means? Glamour, narcissism, arrogance, they all go hand in hand. And people get up on here and they like to glamour themselves. They like to, that's why I always get on here and I look however I look or whatever. I don't give a fuck what you think. I don't have to get on here and do all that shit. What I look like a whore? You know? Glamour in society, glamour on YouTube is what most people look for, you know? And it's actually a way to ascertain and use a horn. It's a silent horn that's blown that only certain ears can hear. You understand what I'm saying? And if you don't know what I mean, I'll explain it to you a little bit more. You have your followers, you have everybody like that. But outside your followers, a lot of times if you're a YouTuber, you'll find the people that you don't know or never heard of will come out and check you out, right? And based on the people coming to check you out or whatever, they have whatever opinion they want to about you or whatever. But usually the opinion they have about you ain't very positive at all. If you're looking for help, you can only find help if somebody has died. I notice that all the time. If you got a motherfucker that got shot up in some violent shit or something like that or whatever, these niggas will give you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Oh shit, they done shot Ray Ray. What was he doing? He was out there selling drugs, but he ain't hurt nobody. Fuck that. Let's help them out. Give him $40,000. She fell off a stripper pole. I can't make this up. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. She fell off a stripper pole and broke her teeth. Let's give her $30,000. You reward shit. You reward bullshit because you empathize with bullshit. And that's why your culture won't get better. Because you empathize with bullshit. You reward bullshit. You reward criminals. You reward criminals before you reward your criminals more than you reward your college graduates. You reward people that are rich before people that are in need. You reward people that have done the worst things in society before you reward a motherfucker that might have found a cure for cancer. You reward the worst because you come from the worst, most of you. And that's all you know. And the internet allows you to do that. Go to any of these hip hop bloggers, right? Go to any of these hip hop bloggers. Look at the shit they talk about. There's one these one guys, they get on my fucking nerves. They're called Hip Hop Uncensored, untrained eyes, untrained ears, never been in the business or whatever. And what they do is they get has-beens to fucking try to validate them. Outside of Boyce Watkins, they try to get has-been people to fuck. And I mean, I'm not talking about has-been people like you didn't sell a record that well or whatever the case may be. Hell, I won't spend that format. Matter of fact, make sure you guys go purchase my single in the description box. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about they go get people that honestly people in the industry don't fuck with. You understand what I'm saying? Like I've seen people they interview and I'll be like, don't nobody fuck with them no more. You know what I'm saying? Like people will say that about me. Everybody still fuck with me. Nobody has stopped picking. I had two people that don't pick up the phone for me that I want to talk to. Two people that don't pick up the phone because they scared about what Puff gonna say to them. Not what I'm gonna do to them. They scared about what Puff gonna say to them if they ever got around. So I understand that. You understand what I'm saying? Because you don't know the depth of my relationship with that company. So that's cool. You understand what I'm saying? So out of respect, I guess, for Puff and all that shit or whatever, they chose not to deal with me. The other person doesn't want to deal with me because they don't want to get in the middle or something. I'm like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. I get it. But some of these people that they have on these podcasts and shit like that, I can tell y'all from a front row seat. A lot of these motherfuckers, and I would tell a lot of these motherfuckers too, you know nobody fuck with you no more. And you know why don't nobody fuck with you no more. See, I sent it in when I had my story. I sent it in on my story, what was happening with my story. I didn't go after that, and I told motherfuckers, and I'll tell you to this day, don't come asking me about Kim Porter. Don't come asking me about Justin and his kids. I had somebody ask me about Christian and his parentage and everything like that, and how Albie Short fit in. You go ask Albie motherfucking Short. Don't ask me shit about nobody's motherfucking kids. Don't ask me nothing about no kids. And if you're voying and you're being a voyeur, you're trying to get information on kids to do whatever you can, insidious to say whatever you can online. Because I notice a lot of these women, they do that. They do these exposés and they want to, expose people's kids, expose people's families, expose this, expose that, or whatever. And not at one moment did they throw their own shit on the line and say, this is what's going on with me. They try to give you this imagery that they've been living a perfect life or whatever, and really their work history don't send no further than fucking McDonald's and the housing project they live in. Y'all got to start investigating these motherfuckers. Not only the motherfuckers y'all donating to, but y'all got to start investigating the people that y'all fucking around and y'all are fucking supporting. Now I saw that bullshit that I really don't even want to talk about it, but I'm gonna talk about it real quick. I saw that bullshit that Brittany Renner threw out. Okay, I put it up on my page. Brittany Renner wanted to claim that she was homeless now. She was having hard times, whatever. Mind you, she stayed with her mama and her sister, right? I'm gonna show you how you get using how this is the devil's tool. Now, I found it ironic and short that one, Brittany Renner had never mentioned shit about any of this shit like this. Two, Do not be fooled and think that none of these motherfuckers that you're talking to don't see your material. Okay? Don't think they are. First of all, I want to start here. Kevin Samuels is not an international fucking megastar. Okay? He is not fucking Will Smith. He is not even Wesley fucking Snipes currently. You understand what I'm saying? You're a YouTuber. All right? Fucking Brittany Renner is not an international athlete, international star. Bitch is not even an international thought. All right? So let's keep that there. Now, if you think these motherfuckers don't go on YouTube and look at other people's videos or whatever, whatever, I've been in front of stars where they're on YouTube looking at other people's shit. There's certain stars that will go on YouTube themselves and other parts of social media and tell you. You always read through the comments or whatever. Of course they do. Now, if that bitch really looked at my story, she would see that all those things happen with me. But what she will do is, bitch like her is a hustler, she will actually find a tone. See, when I talked about it and I talked about homelessness or whatever, I ain't talking about because it was a trend. That's what the fuck I was going through. And somebody gave me a suggestion, nigga, you need to chronicle this shit. Nobody's gonna believe you. And I said, you know what, you're right. And so I did just that. Brittany Renner, on the other hand, she tried to give motherfuckers shock value and be like, please feel sorry for me, all in the chase of $1. And that little side baby she got. That's what I call him, a side baby. You don't care about that baby. I saw the videos previous before you got pregnant. You don't care about that baby. That baby is a utensil for money for you. Say for what it is. A lot of these babies is running around here ain't nothing but mama's check from the government or whoever else. A lot of these girls been on government assistance for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Mama was on government assistance, grandma on government assistance. You get on that shit, you save up your money, and you get the fuck out of the way. Because as long as some people is in your life and you gathering that shit that they giving you, I'm trying to tell you straight up and down, you will never have a moment of rest. Never have a moment of rest. They will always be in your life, and they'll be in your life intimately. You know? So fucking around and doing that whole thing with living life through the system forever, 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 one of the worst ideas you could ever fucking do in your life. Yet there's still a lot of women have done it year after year after year, and men have laid up under them and ate their kids snack fruits and all kinds of other shit in the process. Yes, I'm talking to some of y'all sucker ass niggas too. You know what I'm talking about? The dudes that ain't never had a bank account, dudes ain't never had no rental history, dudes ain't never had anything leased in their name, dudes that sit around and beat that chick year after year after year. She let you stay in her home, putting herself at risk for getting taken out of programs that she might have been in to get her and her kids that place. You trapping out the crib, eating all this shit up, not placing nothing, won't even give a $50 for motherfucking heat. I know motherfuckers like that. They won't give their chick $50 for motherfucking the heat bill. But you in there too, so you want to be cold too. I know motherfuckers. I've seen them before stall on giving their girl $75 to go to the grocery store. I swear to God to you. I saw that happen in front of my face. I never fucked with son again. I said, if you'll do that to the chick you sleep beside, I know I can't count on you. I never fucked with that motherfucker again. And shout out to Kevin. Ain't no hard feelings, but nigga, I can't fuck with you. You fucked it up. If you ever wonder why I never called you back, that's why. That was some sucker shit. And I know it's different if she asks you for 75 and you ain't got it in your pocket. It's different if she asks you for 75 and you got over 600-700 in your pocket, and then later on in that day you go buy a $30 bottle of liquor. I'm looking at you funny, like, son, you should have stayed your ass at home. Come out with us next weekend. A lot of men do that. They'll spend what they don't have, and women too. They'll spend what they don't have, try to show off to motherfuckers. Looking silly. Looking ridiculous. They don't have nothing to show for it. I love when the motherfuckers say to me, oh, I don't drink that. Oh, I don't smoke. I've had homeless people. I've handed them cigarettes before. And they'd be like, oh, I don't smoke that brand. Well, what brand do you smoke? Make no mistake about it, people. If I ain't got a cigarette, I smoke cigarettes. If I ain't got a cigarette, any brand is just my brand. Y'all know what I'm saying? Any brand is my brand. Oh, you got Marlboro Reds? That's my brand. You got Virginia Sun Slice Menthol? Oh, that's my brand. You got a Pall Mall? Y'all know about that shit. That's my brand. My uncle used to smoke a Pall Mall, sure. I've seen people before that have been homeless. I'm being dead real. I've seen people that have been homeless before. You'd be like, yo, you want something to eat? And they'd be like, oh, no, I don't eat that. You don't eat that? What you on, the kosher meal? Should be crazy, man. All this pretending to be going on. I have started to realize that America is nothing more than a fucking machine for actors and actresses. It really is. It's like a machine that's built for manufacturing actors and actresses. You know, people go out and they act like there's something or pretend like there's something actually becoming that motherfucker. Maybe I'm from a different period. Maybe I'm from a period where people actually had to fucking be who they say they were. And if they weren't who they said they were, we call them the fuck out and we give them the fuck up out of here. People don't do that anymore. Now they'll let a motherfucker sit there and lie to them day after day after day, repeatedly, 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 and don't say nothing. I'm not doing that. Fuck you. Not doing that. That's like what's his name? Kwame Brown say to go along, get along gang. I'm not doing shit like that. I refuse to do sucker shit like that. A lot of these women and a lot of these men out here creating narratives via this demonic fucking YouTube shit. And they're like fucking trying to convince us that things are a certain way that they aren't. They're trying to convince us that people are overly this way or that way. The men in the culture are this way, the women in the culture are that way. And I'm calling bullshit on all of it because unless you sat everybody down in a fucking room and you asked everybody collectively, how do you feel? You wouldn't have any idea. You wouldn't have any idea. You're basing it off a small skew of people that you know personally around you. And the people that you see around you and your personal experiences are not collective demographics for any situation. That's just what you experience. You understand what I'm saying? In other words, if you fell off a fucking bridge, what's the probability of me falling off a bridge too? If you're in a car wreck, what's the probability of me being in a car wreck too? If you can't graduate high school, what's the probability of me not graduating high school either? And see, what the people do is they then put these situations and instances and they try to produce them to you as absolutes, like this is the outcome and this is how it happens. And to people that are weak minded, it detours them from even wanting to try at that point. It's fucking crazy. If y'all wonder why I'm laying here with no shirt on, I just got up and I felt like I just wanted to go live. I used to do live every early morning because when I was at the homeless shelter before, I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning. I went through 3 homeless shelters, but the first one I went through, we had to get up at 5:30 in the morning every morning. I used to be so fucking tired, so fucking tired. Like I would go from 5:30 to 6 o'clock. You were so tired you couldn't get anything done because you're like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that, and you couldn't. And it was the same thing in that environment. You used to have women in that environment because our first shelter I was at, it was men and women there. And later on, the third one I was at, it was men and women there too. And the second one I was there, it was men and women there too, but they were totally separated. And I used to sit back and I used to just like fucking be in awe, dude, because I would really be like, yo, I can't do this no more, you know? And the women that were in there was you could tell why some of them ended up in the situations they did. Even some of them that had been beaten or something like that. I honestly, and ladies, don't take this the wrong way if you hear this. I honestly would sit there and I'd be like, I could understand why a motherfucker would bust you in the head. I could understand why a motherfucker. Not saying that it's right, but I could understand why a motherfucker would look at you and be like, my last option is to bust this bitch in the head. I can understand. And a lot of you dudes too. I could understand why a chick would wait till you sleep and clack you in the head with a motherfucking lead pipe or some shit like that. I can understand. I can understand. You out here and got the third chick pregnant. You out here, you running around with this bimbo, that bimbo, this bimbo, wife at home, staying loyal. She don't even go out, nothing. I've seen that before. Seen it, seen it. Good women that will go beyond their dues. I had a woman one time that I was with. She drove me, Italian girl, doesn't matter, but Italian girl. She drove me everywhere trying to get me an ID so I could hop on a plane and go with the bad boy niggas. And I ended up getting on the fucking plane anyway, going to Arizona. I think we were going to Arizona that year. Tempe or Mesa, Arizona. Drove me everywhere she possibly could. That's love right there. So a lot of you fellas out here be passing up good women for these thoughts and whores that y'all see with all this overly makeup. A lot of these motherfucking whores y'all be chasing after too look like fucking transsexuals. That's another thing throw me off too. A lot of y'all boys, your mama ran around for the past 20 years looking like a goddamn man. So y'all don't know what a real woman look like. You know, let me talk to the fellas for a little bit real quick. A lot of y'all motherfuckers be chasing women that look like transsexuals. I'm dead ass serious. I heard, speaking of transsexuals, I'll give you a perfect example. Laverne Cox. If any of y'all don't remember, Laverne Cox is actually a man that used to play on the TV show called Oz. I used to watch Oz. So if you go back and watch Oz, put in Laverne Cox Oz. It was actually HBO's first Wire. If you really want to ask anybody about it, I went and I watched that show and I heard something she said earlier. I mean, just recently, and she said something about she was talking about men and their sexuality or whatever, whatever. She didn't say that the men were gay or anything like that. But in this particular interview, she said same words kind of almost uttered by me. She said some of these men been raised by women, they act. And I was like, damn, that's true. So somebody wrote here. Hi, David. Hey, I love your platform. I love the way you look and speak. Keep being you, even if you dim. Don't ever dim your light for everybody. Thank you very much, Michelle. Let me tell y'all something about that viewer right there. She's a definition of what I mean by stand up sisters. When I was fucked up, I remember one time last batch of the tail end of me being fucked up. I was staying in a hostel one night and a couple of nights or whatever. I was fucked up. Chef, what you need, Pop? Here you go. What you need? What you need? Know what I'm saying? I never turn my back on that one right there. That's you life. I told you that before. You know what I'm saying? Because people like that, you have to keep them next to you, you know? And you have to learn how to separate the good women of color from these piece of shit women out here with a narrative and just trying to collect money for whatever fucking reason. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on YouTube to get rich, but I'm damn sure trying to come up. So if y'all would like to, $ STRINGERBELL 80 Stringer Bell 80. And I especially like if you women donate, because I like to show that the men ain't shit that are out here supporting motherfucking nothing but clout. And I'm trying to change their direction. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these motherfuckers out here trying to save strippers. Oh, there's a whole bunch of niggas out here trying to save strippers. I'll tell y'all before the real moment that Dots got bought in the highlight. A lot of people don't realize it is when this little motherfucker, what's his name, little fat kid, and I can't think of his name because I ain't said his name in so long, but he actually brought Black China to the Billboard Music Awards, and Black China at that time was wearing she was a stripper. So she was wearing a stripper's outfit. She had this black sheer see-through, and then she had this other joint on where you could see through and see her thong. The picture is still up. I just can't think of this kid's name. He's like, I'm so suicide. I'm suicide. What the fuck is the name of that kid's name? I just haven't said his name in so long, but he was a heavyset kid. If anybody remembers his name, Sean Kingston, that's his name. Sean Kingston. Sean Kingston was the first one that bought one of these thoughts actually to a fucking awards, official awards, Billboard Music Awards. He bought Black China to that. You can look it up, the pictures are still there. So he brought Black China to that. And then after that, all of a sudden you saw an onslaught of fucking whores show up. Because all of them was like, I know that bitch from over at Tutti Frutti in the strip club. I know that ain't China. That bitch was supposed to be on Satellite 3 at 2 o'clock. She at the Billboard Awards. Trying to call back. I ain't coming back, bitch. I done met this nigga. He spent $20 on a lap dance and it ended up at this. You know? So A lot of these guys, they end up marrying strippers, dating strippers, all kinds of shit, whatever, whatever, being raised by strippers. 9 times out of 10, because mama was a stripper, a hoe, a thot, or her damn self. A lot of these men have learned how to treat women from other women or mistreat them too. You know, there's a movie. Many of y'all may not seen it, may know or may not know the actual actor that his life is depicted off of it, but it's Richard Pryor. And Richard Pryor put out a movie called JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling. Y'all should go watch that movie. If you never watched any other movie about Black and Demis, watch that movie, JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling. And this story, it's a true life story of Richard Pryor. They say anyway. And I'm sure some things have been altered or whatever. But what you see is that many a times in his life, he's always been around whorish women. He learned from being around these whorish women that this is the way he was supposed to treat women, you know. And many of those women that grew up in the environment they grew up in and be actually being the whores or whatever, they actually realize this is the way they think they should treat men. So what I'm basically saying is, if you don't understand, you're dealing with generations, including the Latin culture too. You're dealing with generations of men and women that are treating each other like John and prostitute. And that's how you refer to each other. And the white culture exists too. John and prostitute mentality, you know. John and prostitute mentality equates that basically I have a J to offer, but you're gonna pay for it. But this is basically what the girls are doing online nowadays. And I'm not saying the J should be free. I'm talking about it shouldn't be a distinct package price put on it. Once you put a distinct package price on it, that is called prostitution. Once you accept the proposition, you are now with John. Sorry. Prostitution to John. A lot of people will argue, well, you doing that anyway if you take a woman out on a date. Man, shut your sucker ass up, you bitch ass, bitch raised motherfucker. Ain't nobody talking to you. I'm not talking about these sucker ass sensitive motherfuckers. I'm not talking about them that want to act like they can rationalize anything that they fell under their moon. You know, a turtle crawls slow. Well, the reason a turtle crawls slow is because shut your bitch ass up. I might fucking ask you. Get so tired of them motherfuckers peeping in. Years ago, we would have called them nerds. Years ago, we would call them weirdos. Now all of a sudden, y'all accepting it. I hate how we made this flex, and I'll be glad when it goes back. When we replace real men with real feelings, real emotions, real actions with a bunch of sissy motherfuckers. Most of these guys out here that are talking, they couldn't beat their way out of a wet paper bag. Most of these motherfuckers out here talking the most about they men can't even change a fucking light bulb, can't paint a wall. Definitely couldn't do half the shit I've done. Put up solar panels, build the fucking stands and put up the solar panels. They couldn't do any of this shit. You understand what I'm saying? To put it point blank, most of these guys that are talking the most are fucking worthless fucking pussies. Black ones, white ones, and Spanish ones. They hang around women. They talk like women. You understand what I'm saying? What I mean, they hang around women, meaning like they hang with women. Primarily hang with women. They don't hang with other men. They hang with women. And if you don't believe me, just look at some of the setups and some of the fucking what's the names of some of these podcasts. You'll see it's always a gay man and two women. If it ain't a gay man and two women, it's a gay black man by himself or a gay Latin man by himself. You understand what I'm saying? And he talking about all the shit that's dished out in a woman's world. You won't believe what Candy did, girl. That's why I be talking about that old Ricky Smiley. I ain't against you, but you be coming up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like some of the shit that be going on over there. I don't know. I question Ricky Smiley for a number of reasons. You know what I mean? Number of reasons. Some of the shit he says I don't like. Some of the things he does I don't like. The lineup is questionable. You understand what I'm saying? But I'll leave it at that. Most of these people that get online and they have these little podcasts or whatever, they always want to be inclusive of somebody from the LBGT community. You have that right. But what you can't do is use that as the protithesis for that's what the new man is. That's not the new man. The new man ain't running around being like, hey girl, did you hear about so-and-so girl? Hi, girl. Oh, yes, girl. Wearing yarn or wearing a fucking, what's the name, is hair, and trying to give out the impression that's hair. It's like some weird shit going on where, and you actually have women embracing this shit. So I'm like, okay, if all the men are fucking gay, who the fuck's gonna date you? Oh, I forgot. A lot of y'all dating each other. Wonder Woman in the Amazons, you know? So it's like I don't know, man. I don't have a problem with the LBGT community. Let's not go there. But what I'm saying is a lot of these guys that they are putting in places or putting up, and I don't know why the fuck y'all don't see it, most of the time are effeminate, gay, LBGT men. And they try to use this and say, okay, this is the face and the voice of you guys. No, no, fuck, he's not. I don't sit around all day gossiping about what some bitch did on Love and Hip Hop. I give a fuck less. I don't sit around all day talking about who's fucking so and so, who Portia is seeing now, and and all that shit, and fucking what was that dumbass broad's name? That's on one of them fucking Love and Hip Hop shows. She by Sheree. That was the dumbest ass fucking name I've ever heard for a clothing line in my fucking life. Sheree, if you hear this, fuck your clothing line. That was the fucking dumbest name ever. She by Sheree. He by him. Here's one. Hop by Rabbit. The fuck is going on? She by Sheree. Nobody is sitting up and you're being influenced by these motherfuckers and you're being put that these people are opulent and decadent and they somehow or another are the tilt of society. Let me tell you some shit. There are parties when you get into the industry, there are parties. I know this because I was in the industry. This is what I was talking about, these hip hop uncensored motherfuckers. I can't stand a unfucking experienced point of view. I hate a unexperienced point of view. You niggas are guessing. Get the fuck off the internet. And all the followers are following behind them. Y'all some guessing motherfuckers too. Bunch of guess bitches. Anyway, not yes bitches, guess bitches. Hey, 305 Capricorn, what's going on? The funny shit about this whole thing is right here, right? These guys and many of them, they get online all day and they make their topics about chatting and fucking dissing people and talking shit about people all fucking day long. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, whatever. Who gives a shit, right? But when they start trying to influence it and trying to back the shit that they say on their hip hop censored and uncensored, whatever that shit is, and a whole bunch of these other shows, I'm just like, oh, well, hold the fuck up. Like they had this little goofy broad, and I was familiar with her because Cortez, and I think a couple of them, I think Malcolm ran through it too. He was gonna manage her or something like that. Shout out to Malcolm Miles. But she had a chance at one time. I think she still got a chance or whatever. A lot of people they have chances, and as they get older and they musicians, they give the fuck up. Don't give up. You know what I'm saying? She should give up. She was actually a dope artist, but this was an artist that never was around a major. You know what I'm saying? You at least have to be with a major. Like if you want an independent company, it's got to be an independent company that got some repetition for me, like Master P or you know what I'm saying? It's got to be a reputable independent. I don't want to hear you as with Three Dot Records or some shit. Like, what the fuck is Three Dot Records? You don't ever heard of Three Dot Records, nigga? We out of Pembroke, Tennessee, nigga. You better come down here to Pembroke. But anyway, they from Three Dot Records. I don't respect shit like that. So I'm listening to this girl on one of the shows and she's talking, whatever, Southern girl. And like I said, I ain't gonna say her name, but she know who she is. Fuck, I can't say that. Kiva, whatever, fuck, Kara Dangerous, whatever fuck her name is. You know what I'm saying? I know two people that used to be dealing with you, and they both said it wasn't a good experience. You're loud, you're obnoxious, you don't listen to shit, and that's why probably your ass didn't make it. You understand? In any fucking way. And I'm not dissing you. That's hearsay. Long story short, these guys and guys like Hip Hop Uncensored and many other different platforms that are out there, these motherfuckers, they deliver music to y'all on a unfucking trained mouth, untrained ear. And then most of the shit they give y'all is fucking guessing. Guessing and gossip. The two G's. Guess, gossip. We got to guess, gossip, and go. The three G's. Guess, gossip, and go. That seems to be the prerequisites for getting on YouTube nowadays. Guess, gossip, and go with the live. Guess, gossip, and go live. I ain't guessing and gossiping. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've seen this shit. I've lived this shit, and I actually was in the industry. So I get offended when I hear motherfuckers telling stories about what we went through. That's like me telling a story about what a baker went through. I ain't no fucking baker. You understand what I'm saying? That's like me telling the stories of a plumber. I'm not a fucking plumber. You understand what I'm saying? Telling the stories and what happened between a motherfucker that used to be a orchestra director. I don't know how to direct or condone or even musical notes to that depth that I can have a multiple people playing. I know musical notes, but not to the musical notes for orchestra is totally different. You have at least 7 to 8 alignments arranged, and each one of those alignments arranged is coattailed by a note. If you miss one of those fucking notes, that means, or the cue for one of those artists that has the instrument to be cued and that notes. Anybody knows how to read sheets of music knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Whether it's sheets of music, whether it be um damn, I ain't said this in so long because I usually don't have to say it, in notes versus lyrics. If you're reading sheets of music, you know exactly what the fuck I mean. You mess up one part of that shit, especially some shit like the Star Spangled Banner or you know what I mean, some shit like that. Oh, you might as well call it a rap. Roseanne Barr one year did the fucking if y'all don't remember Roseanne Barr one year she did the fucking Star Spangled Banner at a baseball game. They canceled that bitch immediately. And this was before cancel culture even began. That's how deep it was. They canceled her then. And she was never ever come back. That was like career suicide. And then she came back and said something other than that. And they took her off her own fucking show and left the and left her name on the show. You understand what I'm saying? That's the heights of stardom. You understand what I'm saying? Where motherfuckers take you off the show that you created, leave your name on the show, and continue the show and get more seasons of the show confirmed with you off the show. And meanwhile, we got chicks on YouTube talking about how much power they got. You bitches ain't got no power. Ain't nobody paying attention to you except for other wayward ass broads. Lee, what's going on, man, on the check-in, man? Now we just sitting up here talking about really influence. And the lack of influence is seemingly coming from, well, I mean, the direct influence is seemingly coming from a lot of our women online nowadays, a direct influence that's coming from a lot of these men online. And basically, what I'm doing is I'm trying to ask the question and raise, should we start questioning some of these motherfuckers? Because a lot of these people, like I said before, they come from tones where they just are argumentative. You understand what I'm saying? Their whole lives, especially here in the Northeast, a lot of people that they grew up in the hood in the Northeast, their whole life has been set up on this arguing. You understand what I'm saying? If there's not arguing, there's no chaos going on in the house or whatever, it's not normal for them. I know a lot of people like that. And a lot of these people are bringing these attitudes online and they're using little subtleties or things that may fit their narrative or whatever the case may be and directing them and giving them to the people. And a lot of times it's wrong information. The other problem I have is, yeah, they do think they know everything. The other problem I have is a lot of these people that get online, they don't really have anything to back their claims. You understand what I'm saying? They'll like take, like I had mentioned Cynthia G earlier, and her go all and her absolute for is it prideful or whether or not, first of all, let me say this. I know many of men like interracial dating here in the Northeast is not a all thing at all. And the further you go down south, it's not an all thing either on both ends. White women date men of color, white men dating women of color. It's not an all thing. You understand what I'm saying? So I know it when I see it or whatever. And many times when I've seen it, I've never seen it in malice, really. You understand what I'm saying? Like I've never seen somebody just go out of their way and be like, "Yo, look, I got this person." Now I'm sure there are people that have done that, and I have seen that, but not in the perplexity of many people doing it. That's why I'm going to point to. But, but what I have seen and what I do see out of a lot of motherfuckers that get online and they put this shit out is that they're not only not in a relationship, they've never had any long-standing relationships, but more importantly, nobody currently is checking for them, and they're always over a certain age point. That's what I always find. Hey, Ruby Johnson, they're always over a certain age point. So a lot of these women and men, they'll be 35, 40 years old, 45 years old, or whatever, and their whole motive for the day is to sit around and just bash the opposite sex within their culture. And I'm like, Hold the fuck up. Where is this shit headed? Like, who are you working for, motherfucker? Now, I can see if you was calling out an individual. I can see if you was calling out, two, three individuals. But when you're calling out just one particular fucking group and you're labeling them, and I'm talking about a gender specific group, culturally gender specific group. If you're just labeling them as this, that, and other, and the third, or whatever, whatever, you almost sound like the Klan. Like I listened to some of Cynthia G's diatribe, and she almost sounds like a KKK member. And I don't think many people would disagree. She sounds like a old ass white woman that this I can't stand niggles. I hate niggles. I ain't never had a niggle up here. It's okay as long as they're poor, black, or brown. It's all okay as long as they are poor, black, and brown. But this is the thing. Lee, I talked about these women, and most of these women don't only come from households that have made no more than 10,000, 15,000, $20,000 in a year. This is the backgrounds that a lot of these women grew up in. For example, I just took everybody, and it's still on my page here. I don't know the last time you've been here, but on my page right now, I have a video. I live here in Stamford, Connecticut. It's Candace Owens, if you're familiar with her, not familiar with her. It's from right here in Stamford. In fact, she's not far from where I'm at right now. She doesn't live anymore. She actually lives in Texas now with her white husband, who, and coincidentally, if you missed this, Lee, he ran a website called Paula. Paula came under scrutiny under, believe it or not, ex-President Trump for a lot of the stuff that they had put on there. It was a lot of racial shit going on there, all kinds of crazy shit. To add and emphasize my point even more, Candace Owens actually won a lawsuit here in Stamford, Connecticut, against not only the police department, but also the school that she was going to, which was Stanford High School, because four white men had been fucking bothering her so much that it became into racial taunts and everything like that or whatever. Most of this extended off her political views and her thrust of how strong she was in the political views. If you dig deep into the details of it and hear from people that actually went to Stanford High School or whatever, she won a lawsuit for that, and a lawsuit judgment. Another fun fact about Candace Owens is since 2017, starting here in Stamford, Connecticut, Candace Owens had been online on YouTube and utilizing YouTube for all her political jabber and babble, and excelled from YouTube into the political realm. So, if many of y'all don't know that, Candace Owens was discovered by political pundits here on YouTube and was basically thrusted into the political realm based off shit that she said on YouTube. Candace Owens, I want to highlight this. Candace Owens went to college right in Rhode Island, and she had financial difficulties, so she had to actually with her student loans. So she actually had to get out of college and resend her college submissions and things like that or whatever. And she was out here with the rest of us. So make no mistake about it. There's a lot of people on here that are hypocrites on YouTube. Now, you heard me say that she had four white men that threatened to kill her and everything else or whatever. As a result of that, she went and married a white husband and had a half-white baby. She didn't stop trying to fit in even after all that had happened, if y'all listen to what the fuck I'm saying. And she defended Kyle Rittenhouse, but she never talks about that incident that happened right here in Stanford. So earlier when Homeboy said think about racism and everything like that, I get what you're saying of that or whatever, but that was an extreme circumstance that happened with her. And a lot of it was brought on, like I said, by her political beliefs, Her political beliefs were this fucking crazy. Now, I will be honest, there is some racism here in Stanford. There definitely is. It's basically perpetrated in the form of it's financial. It's financial. It's not necessarily racist, it's financial. And at the time, as you saw, I took you to her neighborhood. One of the problems she would have is the area that she lives in versus where the more opulent people in the city live in. And like, make no mistake about it, that little part right there, the hood is like this big. That's how much of Stanford's hood you will ever see, is that big. And they will never expand that. It's like that big, If you're talking about, quote unquote, the hood or whatever you want to call it, it's about that big, and you will never see it expand outside of that. It's definitely here in California, very segregated in most areas. I know California, and the funny thing about California is the violence and the amount of violence that y'all having out there in California is based on one thing: homelessness, and the fact that it's not been ever corrected. It's never been corrected. Gavin Newsom tried his best to correct it. Now they're taking all these turns to correct it or whatever, whatever, and none of it's panning out because of pure simple fact the problem is so far gone. Whether it's Skid Row, whether it's the outskirts of Albadena, whether it's the outskirts of LA, whether it's 30 mile zone or whatever, all that shit out there has been saturated to the point in California where people are now leaving California and going to Arizona, including homeless people are leaving California, going to Arizona, Washington State. I hear everybody's going up to Washington because of the programs they have up there and shit. The other places they're going to is lower parts of Arizona, Tempe, Mesa, places like he said, yep. And then the other place they're going is Texas. Everybody's flocking to Texas. There's a shitload of people that have left California and going to Texas. Now, if y'all don't know what's going on in California, they're having home invasion after home invasion after home invasion. Y'all saw Mr. Avant, his wife was killed. Y'all didn't know after that, there was actually another one that was more heinous than that one where they tied motherfuckers up, shot 3 people in the house. It was crazy. This all comes from the need to want, you know. People have want for resources. Resources include food, resources include clothes, resources include shelter. I talked about this 5 months ago, and I told you about the incoming fucking problem that we were going to have. I not only said that the virus would be back, and I'm not going off long term here, I'm just proving my point to you. I not only said that the virus would be back, but I also said something else. I said that we're going to have to fight for resources. So remember I said that? And my long term listeners remember when I said this now almost 5, 6 months ago. And here we are. And I even said the time that it would happen. I said it's going to happen right around November. Y'all remember me saying that? I said it's going to start about October, but y'all going to see the culmination of it around about Thanksgiving time going into Christmas. And I said right after Christmas, that's what's going to hit the hardest. They're going to let everybody have fun. Then after Christmas and the New Year, it's going to be like, poof, poof. And you're going to be fighting for resources at the grocery stores, everything like that. Meaning you might have to punch a motherfucker in the mouth for a 2-gallon thing of milk because your baby got to drink something tonight. Listen, my son's at home. I'll kill a bitch dead up in this motherfucker. With my babies. And I don't know too many mothers, black, white, or otherwise, that wouldn't do the same. What you mean my baby can't have no chocolate? My baby love that chocolate milk. Hold up. Get the pistol, Cheryl. Get the strap. Over this milk. It ain't funny, but it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? They trying to take the last box of Nestle Crunch. Get the scrap. They trying to take the last juice. Get the strap. You know what I mean? So you having World War III at fucking grocery stores, baby. And definitely at gas pumps if they would have did anything out in California, for example. It got up to damn near $4, almost $5 per gallon. You know? So and my little sister, she live out in California, and I've been out to California too many times. I know Cali. I got friends out in Cali. You know what I'm saying? People be surprised how many people I know in Cali. You know what I'm saying? I know some real hard hitting motherfuckers out in Cali. Real hard hitting motherfuckers, man. You know what I'm saying? A couple of names I could throw out here, whatever, whatever. You know, some check-in type folks. You know what I mean? You know, I'm out here. Why? You know what I mean? Real, man. Some real heavy hitters out in Cali, man. So make no mistake about it. Don't go out there fucking around. You know what I mean? You better go out there. You know, people say don't come to NY. Don't get me wrong. You still get to NY all day long. We take pride in shit like that. But Cali is a little bit different. You got people in Cali that actually grew up, and this is why I talk about the way you grew up means a lot of difference. You got people in Cali that actually grew up in gangs. You know what I'm saying? Like they grew up, that's all they know is gang mentality, gang life, gang shit. That's all they know. So sometimes they'll even laugh at those guys or whatever. I'm not in no gang, never been in no gang, but I know the culture. I mean, you can't avoid it in California. You got the Mexican gangs with the cholos. Like I said, shout out again to my girl Linda Ortega and her restaurant Vero Cazano. The two of them that they own, you know what I'm saying? That's my homegirl. She's Chola style, with Cholo makeup, Cholo hairstyle, Cholo clothes. You know what I mean? Her cousins are the same way. I'm cool as fuck with them. We're art people. You know what I mean? But they represent that. Um, a lot of their family are gang. You know what I'm saying? And I met a couple of them, and they were cool as fuck. They fed the fuck out of me. I was saying, here, have this. Linda's a little bit on the girly side. She's a big girl. And most of her family is too. That I can't find. I was like, me and one of her cousins, I think, when I went to go eat at that restaurant, I think me and her cousin Andy were like the two smallest people in there. Everybody else was big, big, and biggest. You know what I'm saying? But good Mexican folks, man. Those my people right there. But yeah, I know Cali, and I know how the gang mentality just basically like run everything out there. I know like little shit they say, like motherfucker, you be across the street and shit, motherfuckers be like, hey yo, come here. Come here. What the fuck you mean come in? Nigga, like to a northeast motherfucker. Like, come here. What the fuck you mean? For what? You part of the lottery. Hey yo, homie, come here. I heard, I, when I first heard it, it had to be like 2003 ish, four. First time I heard that accent for real. Like you got to hear prior to that, I'd only heard it on movies, videos, whatever. That LA accent. That LA accent is actually not a LA accent. It's actually a European accent mixed in with this local dialect that they have, and believe it or not, Mexican dialect as well. It's centered on a section of, I believe it was England and Dutch lands that these people were from. So kind of like the distinct sound that you hear with a Baltimore accent, which is from the Dutch, believe it or not, because Dutch people kind of talk like this. And you're dear, I would want to know if you dear and you dear. Well, if you listen to the accent of people from Baltimore, it's the exact same thing. You know where dear, it's a Dutch accent. That's what you're hearing. You're hearing it's a muttered, contrived, like put together Dutch accents. No different than what you hear with the Jamaicans. Jamaicans are speaking broken English and African dialect mixed in with English, Spanish, and French, believe it or not, because that's what the colonizers were. So they speak like when they speak with that accent, they speak with an accent that is up from the Queens. Well, when you hear people in Cali speaking, they're speaking from that same thing. They're speaking from the Dutch, but a specific part of the Dutch and a specific part of the English that colonized those areas. So when you hear them with their accent, they'd be like, yo, homie, come here. That's a Dutch accent. This is a West Coast Dutch accent, but a Dutch accent nevertheless. If you don't believe me, look it up for yourself. Anyway, there's a lot of shipping docks in California. That's what a lot of people leave out. My sister, she lives in 909 area. I ain't gonna tell you where, but she lives in a 909 area. And that's all that's out there is waterways. You understand what I'm saying? For the Pacific Ocean, it's direct link, especially if you coming from Hawaii. So it's a port. You understand what I'm saying? Now that's coming from the Pacific Island. I mean Pacific Ocean. But if you're talking about the Atlantic Ocean, and you're talking about direct link to the Caribbean and all that, or whatever, it's right there. But all the other ports that were coming through, they were coming right through there from the Pacific Ocean on up to the what's the name? What do you call it? Andromeda Belt, I think that's what it's called. I ain't studied that shit in a minute, but I know it's right there. So yeah, Cali's got a whole bunch of shipping ports out there, a whole bunch of things like that, or whatever. So when you hear that accent, this a little tidbit, that's where it's from. I remember the first time I was on Cal, somebody says, "Hey, yo, homie, come here." I was like, "Come here, nigga. I'm not coming over there. Fuck you." And I kept walking. It was like it kept getting louder. Hey, yo, homie, I said, "Come here." It just keep walking. Don't go over there. That shit's not gonna end up good for you. If you didn't turn around the first time, which that time it might have turned out bad for you. But definitely don't turn around after they said it the second or third time. Now tempers are flaring. They're not gonna fuck with you like that. You know, that's one thing I know. Well, guys, I'm gonna get up on off of here, give us some dress. I got some things to do, and hopefully try to finish creating these things. I need to make some money for real. So I'm gonna try to put these finish these last little touches. I'm only gonna throw out two sweatshirts. I tried some other things, some other, I'm talking about the clothes that I'm throwing out. I tried some other things, some other designs. I just really didn't like them. And I think I'll revisit them later. But as of right now, I think they would look better on a different garment or maybe a short sleeve garment, some of the designs I came up with. So I'm only putting up 2 designs for the holiday for you to purchase. Hopefully you will purchase them. Also have my song available for purchase, which is down at the bottom. And also, as always, I like to list this last because I know I have a couple people come in. That nigga on here paying. No, nigga, I'm trying to get right. That's what I'm trying to do. You understand what I'm saying? And it requires help. It really does. And we need furniture and all that shit in here. Somebody tried to make fun of me because I said I needed a jacket. I do need a new jacket. I'm wearing a very thin jacket right now, but it gets the job done. But that jacket is old, so it's shiny, as glossy as it looks. If you look back at my videos, you'll see me last year with that jacket on. And if you look at my pictures and videos before that, you'll see the year before that I had it on. So I need a new jacket. It's what it is. So if you guys like to donate, it's STRINGERBELL 80. That's Stringer Bell 80 on the Cash App. It's also a PayPal link in the description box, or you can purchase my single and contribute that way. I would appreciate it. Before I leave here, though, I just want to talk about one more other motherfucking thing before I get up out of here. And do that now, guys, if you're going to do that, because I will actually shout you out on here, because I believe people that donate, people that purchase my single, whatever, they should be recognized or whatever. And I see so many people, they get 50, $100, $200, $500, $600,000, and I very rarely hear them say thank you, even or hey, this is what I did with it, or you know what I'm saying, like none of that. So I want to make sure from now on that well, I've always done it anyway, because people can tell you that. But I want to make sure that more people are encouraged to do that from now on. You know, thank these people that give you their hard-earned money. We live in tough times right now, and do the right thing with their money when they give it to you. If you say you're going to do something with the money, then do that. You understand what I'm saying? Don't trick these people and go, take out Brittany Renters and, you know what I'm saying? Go have extravagant dinners or whatever. I still have never done that with none of my donators' money. I have never, what's her name? Victoria, I think that's what her name is, or something like that. She donated $80 to me during Thanksgiving, told me, go have yourself a nice dinner. I didn't even spend it on that. I have not had me a nice dinner out in God knows what, 2-3 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about just by myself while I leave a tip and some shit like that. I've done it in a long time. Not saying that's what I want to do, but I haven't done that in a long time. But I see guys, that's what they'll do, and girls do with their donation money. They'll give you their ass to kiss, be up in fine restaurants, driving fucking, rented Ferraris and shit with Brittany Renters in the car, whatever. I like to thank my donators. Meanwhile, you make a whole fucking career off of bashing broads daily online and then wonder why these bitches is up putting up fucking, not bitches, but I mean women putting up these goddamn pages and shit talking about fuck these nipples. I can understand to a certain degree. You know what I mean? Y'all kind of like motherfuckers that do that kind of funnel. Kevin Samuels is a nerd. Okay. He's always been a nerd. All right. I saw some of his earlier videos. You look like a nerd. You look like the motherfucker we would have held upside down and shook his ass and be like, nigga, what you got on our fucking lunch today, B? Huh? Huh? What you mean you ain't got to shut your fucking ass up? What you mean you ain't got $5? Shut the fuck up. What you mean you got $5? Huh? Fucking me. Fucking me. Gonna beat his ass. You know what I mean? Daily. Kevin Samuels is one of these Johnny come lately motherfuckers that is matured as a man now. And I think one of them I hit myself too hard. He's matured as a man. Now he's an older man. He wants to act like he been out here doing it. Nigga, you wasn't hanging with us. Your nerd ass was at that job. Hi, how you guys doing? Great. Look at some of his early videos. Put in Kevin Samuels 2013, because he go back about 7 or 8 years. Go back and put in Kevin Samuels 2015. And look at the videos that come up and look how he was dressed. Look how he was looking. He was not the debonair motherfucker that he was right now. You understand what I'm saying? Or try to be anyway. Right now, that nigga's just a dressed up nerd. All right. And you giving nerd opinions. See, and I'm gonna tell you what I mean. And real dudes that been out here getting women, y'all know what I'm talking about. We know the difference when a motherfucker's out here and you getting women because you paying for it with there's 3 types of men out here when it comes to this women game. Really 4. But most men know this, all right? And men, if you disagree with me, let me know. There's the one guy That's, and I hate to say it like this, and I'm not trying to be funny, and I'm not trying to put no terms on the alpha male and all that corny shit, because that's self-exalted shit. That shit, the people have to name you that. You can't call yourself that. But this is setting in, right? They are the first step of men that have always gotten women. All right. Like since high school, since middle school, I have always had pretty women. You understand what I'm saying? This is no lie. I had a couple duds here and there, all men have. You know, we said a couple nights, she ain't that bad. You know what I'm saying? But most of the women, dark skin, light skin, in the middle, always have been pretty for me. All right. Or equipped enough to take out. You understand? I remember something my sister said to me one time, it always stuck with me. She said, yo, if you can't take that broad in the hawk with her hand in hand in the mall, you shouldn't be fucking with her. If you got to be like, yo, come over here, you shouldn't be talking to her. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, if you're scared to walk in public with her, you should be rocking with her. You know what I'm saying? So it always stuck with me, and that's why I never had the problem. Second type of dudes that you have, and up to this day, I can still get a woman anytime I want to. Second type of man is the man that he ain't necessarily a nerd. He just ain't no ladies man. He don't go out looking for chicks like that or whatever, whatever. He gets into relationships and he stays in relationships. That's where I'm at. I fall in the middle of the first guy and the second guy because I've had long-standing relationships with women. My last relationship was 7 years. You know what I'm saying? So, and I haven't had another one since then. you know, you call it whatever you want to. The third type of guy is the guy that's shy, never got even J in high school, middle school, was slapped around a little bit, maybe a little weird, whatever the case may be. And that's kind of where Kevin Samuels falls into play. Then the fourth guy that we don't necessarily talk about that much is the guy that honestly and truthfully enough does exist where he hates women, period. He's not gay necessarily, but he just doesn't like women. He doesn't like women personally. You understand what I'm saying? And we've had murderers in history. You'll see there was this one guy that dressed up as a clown. What was his name? Henry something. He dressed up as Chuckles the Clown. That was his nickname. Chuckles the Clown. Y'all can look him up. This is in the 1960s. He hated women, went around killing people. The Hillside Strangler, say he hated women. Jeffrey Dahmer, he hated women. There's a lot of these guys out here, so let's not pretend that these psychopath motherfuckers don't exist, right? And the hell with all of them. Jeffrey Dahmer got killed by a fellow prisoner. I want to send a salute to that prisoner that did the Lord's work. That's one of the few times you'll hear me say, if you're going to say something about being proud of a motherfucker going through, say it about motherfuckers like that. Jeffrey Dahmer, okay? Say it about motherfuckers that shoot up in front of a project and hit a couple of innocent black kids. How about that? All right, or Latin kids, or say you're proud of somebody dying that raped a couple of women, like that motherfucker did down there in Ohio a couple of years ago. It had those poor little girls under there since they were 15 and 16 years old, all Latina girls, and two Latina girls and one white girl. If you're gonna talk about a motherfucker, talk about some of these sick motherfuckers out here that are touching children and shit like that, and get their kicks off fucking fondling a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old and a fucking 14-year-old. What the fuck are you doing there? You can't see this skipping. That's why I never really fall with that excuse when dudes say that shit. If you 30 something, 40 something years old and you find a 13 or 12 or 14-year-old girl sexually attractive, motherfucker, there's something wrong with you. I don't give a fuck how big a butt is, none of that shit. You understand what I'm saying? She 14, B. You know. So there's dudes in all four of those categories right there. And there's probably a fifth or sixth or whatever. I just ain't paying attention to it. There's a protagonist. Then you have other men that are not sure of themselves, but still they out in the game. Then you have the player. Then you got the motherfucking the half a gay, half a straight motherfucker. Then you got, you know what I'm saying, the motherfucker that's just a full blown trick. He pays for everything he wants. So, and realistically, if you want to go into debt, there's probably about 10 different types of men out there. But Kevin Samuels definitely falls in that number 3, which is a motherfucker that never got the J in his fucking life. That's why you would allow a bitch like Brittany Renner to run you. The only other type of men that Brittany Renner can run is sucker ass men. You understand what I'm saying? And Deion Sanders, I hate to say it, but you always been known as a trick in the business. So I wasn't surprised when you had that bitch right next to you. You always been known as a trick. Anybody that know football know that Deion Sanders always been known as a trick in the football realm. He done spent thousands of dollars on strippers, whores, and everybody else. I supposed down there in Texas. He used to live down in Texas for a minute. Everybody know that shit. So I wasn't surprised when I seen her with Deion Sanders as recently or whatever. Deion Sanders always been a trick. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Deion Sanders, excellent football player, but a trick nevertheless. That's the exact same thing Kevin Samuels is. He's a trick. He don't realize he's a trick. He thinks he's a connoisseur or whatever, whatever. But honestly and truthfully, I can look at the way you dress or whatever. First of all, as to get girls, we don't dress like that. So I don't know what type of women you going after. I saw you with that little ascot on, and then this nigga had with some little side bags you put. I ain't seen one of them shits in years. Little fanny packs. This motherfucker had a fanny pack on and an ascot and a fucking polo shirt. I was like, first of all, who the fuck wearing polos in 2021? I ain't get the memo. Somebody holler at me. I ain't get the memo. But this nigga had a polo shirt on and some tight ass jeans. And I'm glad he started wearing socks again. I wrote a post on this thing. I said, nigga, stop wearing socks, man. You look fucking sissy-fied in the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Kevin Samuels. Hey, girl. You better work. Now, I don't think the guys are all bad. Don't get me wrong. And far be it for me to say right now, because I'm not in a set position like I usually am. I'm laying in the bed or whatever. But this motherfucker is a sucker, all right? Kevin Samuels ain't never in his life got vajay, all right? Let's stop pretending that he's a ladies' man. Let's stop pretending that chicks were checking for him day in and day out or whatever, whatever. And I'm not bashing this guy. I'm just simply saying what it is. And most guys know this by looking at him too. This was not the guy that was getting shitload of vajay in fucking high school, college, in his 20s, 30s, even his 40s. Now that he's popping on YouTube, he's getting some vajay. In fact, I might even say that maybe that was his whole intent to start a YouTube channel so he could get vajay. I don't use my channel to get vajay, and I've had chicks offer me vajay on here. I don't use my channel for to get vajay. That's creeper shit. You know what I mean? Like if you feel somebody and they feeling you or whatever, and that happens to transcend, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But like this initially and intentionally going out and setting up a channel or, you know, contacting every woman that writes on your fucking page or whatever, whatever, that's corny, homie. You know what I'm saying? There's women that I talk to on a daily basis that might be or may not be on this podcast right now. And there's women that I call and I talk to, and I never came at them on no sexual suggestions. I never came to them on, yo, let's do this, let's do that, or whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And the one that it did end up like that with, you will never know because I don't kiss and tell. You understand? But what I don't like is I don't like when motherfuckers get up on here and they call themselves alphas, they call themselves real men and all this shit or whatever. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let that be known that you are about to embark on listening to a sucker. Don't no real motherfucking G's run around talking about they real fucking G's. Where they do that at, huh? I said for you again. Don't no real G's run around talking about how they real G's on a daily basis. Real G's is really to show up. You understand what I'm saying? That's kind of like them cousins you got. Everybody got a setup. You know what I'm saying? Mama, call Do Dirty in now. Let's call them Do Dirty. And they got Do Dirty female cousins. They got Do Dirty guy cousins. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, Mama, call Do Dirty in them. Daddy, call Do Dirty in them. They take care of it. Do Dirty. Cousin Do Dirty. You know what I'm saying? Because the Do Dirty show up, they come to do this what they gonna do you dirty. You know what I mean? So let's not get confused and stop taking for granted and word just because people self-exalt themselves. When I speak of exalting someone, that means that that person has said to themselves, this is I, therefore I am, and has not been elected or constituted by the rest of us. We ain't say that's who you were. The fuck you trying to fool? You know what I'm saying? Who said you was an alpha? You know what I mean? There are people out there that are like this that want you to believe that they're alphas and they all this and they the smartest women in the bunch and it's one for everybody. In heights, sir. But in reality, most of these motherfuckers that you see online have some of the lowest self-esteems, some of the most unaccomplished people you ever meet in your fucking life. Some of these people have never in a moment had more than 5 to 10 people listen to them. And I really believe that's where Kevin Samuels comes from. Kevin Samuels comes from a good environment as far as work history. I will not take that away from him. And I'm not trying to take away his diatribe or his page. So don't get me wrong about that. I think he's an excellent man with some of his diatribe. No, I'm simply pointing out the fact that I could look at Kevin Samuels and tell Kevin Samuels wasn't a ladies' man. Okay. And I think most of y'all can look at him and say that too. I know the difference between a nerd that turned into mature man. You understand what I'm saying? Kevin Samuels was a nerd. Kevin Samuels was fucking Urkel. He was Urkel. Hey, where you guys going? You guys going to the club? You think I could come along, huh? Huh? I got pencils and erasers and look, I've got a fanny pack. I keep all kinds of stuff in my fanny pack. This nigga had a fanny pack on recently in 2021, and you want me to skip that shit? Don't no real men wear no fanny pack, you sissy motherfucker. Understand? I can understand if you had one of them new age fanny packs that go across the chest. I can rock with those because I was gonna buy one of those to put my shit in. They actually look like some trap boy shit. You know what I'm talking about? The fanny packs that go across the chest, or is it just people just wearing them like that? But when you got the fanny pack on the hip, a couple years ago that might have been cool, but 2012 or 2021, when you got the fanny pack around your waist and it's tilting off the side of your waist, I only got one thing to say. Hey, Kevin Samuels. Hey, girl. I'm gonna put that picture up so y'all can see that shit. That shit is hilarious. And he had an ascot on. Ascot is like a brooch that fits around your neck, and guys used to wear them tied off or whatever. We used to do that in New York. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't do it like that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't do it like that. That nigga look. It looked like you was waiting to get makeup done at Macy's. And my female viewers in my area, you know what I'm talking about? He looked like he was getting ready to go get his makeup done at Macy's. Hey, Kevin. Hey, girl. You know what I'm saying? Was Brittany Renner your beard, nigga? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. The crowd want to know, was Brittany Renner your beard? I gotta ask that question. I'm gonna put that shit up in the community section. I swear to God. If y'all don't believe me, I think I used the picture for one of my posts. I just can't think of which one, but I still have the picture because I like always have pictures of these guys in case I do a live about them. But oh my God. Yes, he had this ascot on that was tied tan, I believe it was. And then at the bottom of it, he had the fanny pack. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of the Crimson Curl, she just went live just a second ago. Her, I don't know what her what's her name is about tonight. Let's see if anybody hit up the what's her name though. Ruby Johnson, thank you for donating $10 or whatever. After 2 hours and 45 minutes, I appreciate somebody recognizes me or whatever. I appreciate that very much. Ruby Johnson for donating $10 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Should see way more than that in there, but it's all good. It's all good. I'm not Kevin Samuels. I don't wear fanny packs, so it doesn't surprise me. I don't wear fanny packs and I don't do interviews with thoughts. So, I guess that takes me out of the equation. That's why I've dumbed this down. It's going to be even more dumbed down because the lack of engagement, I think that's a very good cue to leave off on. The lack of engagement, as you can see, I've been on here about 2 hours and 45 minutes and I've gotten less and less and less and less serious actually about and I started thinking about it. I'm gonna start getting less and less serious about just like, having lights and doing all that shit or whatever, because there's nothing there to substantiate me doing that anymore. You know what I mean? And I don't mean like the circumstances, I mean just like the crowd participation. Uh, I think blacks have spoken loudly enough and said, if you have a good message or you have a message that's speaking of something clearly that's in the positive, we don't want to hear that. We want to hear negative. We want to hear gossiping. We want to hear people getting bashed. And if you're not doing that, you're not worth getting donated to. So that's cool. I'm cool with that. And I'm working on right now trying to get me a new audience that's outside and I hate to say this like this, the black scope. I think that I need to remove myself from the full black scope as much because I don't think one that I'm being listened to as that much, and then two, I don't think once they do appreciate. I've even heard other YouTubers repeat my words, like word for word, repeat my words and run with them like it's their words, and not donate, not credit me, not nothing. So I said, okay, I see that the terms have changed. You know what I mean? So I need to leave some of these folks alone, and I think I would fit better over in an audience that's somewhere else. So gradually and eventually, at the top of next year, if I don't see any improvement, I will be. This has got to go. You know what I'm saying? And I don't care if it's 7,000 motherfuckers there. I mean, you can chart it down to 7,000. Out of 7,000, you chart it down to 3,000 of them, 4,000 of them ain't worth shit. You know what I'm saying? It's only that. If I really wanted to say something, it's really only that thousand that's really the strong ones that sit there, whatever, whatever. And most of them, I'm giving them invites to another channel I have anyway. So I already started doing that. So the other channel's already set up. It's already, you know what I mean? Set and what's the name? And I'm not trying to threaten anybody. I'm not trying to shame anybody or any other of the little fucking nigger terms that people be using because every time it's something they don't agree with, they want to calculate it to some ghetto shit. Well, you wouldn't do that. So, it's like some fourth grade ghetto shit at that too. Like I haven't talked about shit like this since I was a kid. You know what I mean? But yeah, so because of the lack of participation, I've definitely, and I think like the premise that got me here on this channel, I think it wouldn't serve me any longer just being on this channel. So what you'll see and coming up, you're gonna see a lot more of me doing maybe like 2 hour, 3 hour lives or whatever, and then you're not seeing me 3, 4, 5 days or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't just think that my time is worth it any longer or whatever, whatever. I think most African Americans they don't really see where I'm coming from and they don't really care for what I have to say. Um, and it's just that I just don't find the time. I can't compete in the world where there's nothing but gossiping going on every 5 minutes. I don't want to be known as the gossip guy. Does that make sense? I also don't want to be known as the guy that gets on here and talks endlessly about nothing. I talk about things that I think are irrelevant or important or whatever, whatever. And if you don't agree with that, you don't agree with that. Many of another thing that really bothers me too is a lot of African Americans are very racist. That's one thing I found too. Very racist. The things, and like I don't give a fuck what you say. If you want to hop off, hop off. Because it doesn't matter if you hop off. You're not hitting the like button. You're not donating anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter. So don't think you're gonna hurt my feelings with that. But the one thing I find is a lot of black and Latin people are extremely, I mean, excuse me, black people are extremely fucking racist and Latin people too. But like it's like in the most stupid fucking reasons why. Like I can see you being racist because somebody said something racist to you or being racist because you went through a situation. A lot of people are just racist because they think it's fashion. I'm talking about all areas. I don't deal with that shit no matter where it comes from. And yeah, I just think that that would be the best thing to do and just move this away and try to get like I need a more intelligent crowd. I need a more um of a crowd that actually has money to spend. I don't know the financial situations of many of y'all here, but I have now 4 or 5 times caught people that said, "Hey, I'm gonna donate to you," da 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 da, da, and then they don't, right? But then like they'll keep coming to see you and then I'll catch them somewhere else because I follow a shitload of people. So I'll catch them somewhere else on somebody else's podcast. And I did it just a week and a half ago. I even wrote them a fucking note in the chat. It was funny as shit and took a picture of it. But they donated $150 to somebody else that was already a star and has money. Like this motherfucker literally drives a Mercedes AMG. And I'm like, are you serious? Meanwhile, I'm over here. I have no furniture. I need a bed. I need a whole bunch of things. And I'm like, you've been following me for months and I couldn't get that. And like, it's not even a jealousy thing. It's just like, okay, this is not the type of person I want around me. You're not beneficial. Like, and I don't mean beneficial like that's all I'm looking for. I mean beneficial like if I needed you, you definitely couldn't be there to assist. So you only assist people that you can cloud chase behind. So you was probably waiting for me to hit my peak and then you would be behind me, be like, "Oh, I was here the whole time." No, I don't need you. I don't like people like you. People like you could be bought. So I'm good. I'm good. I'm all set with you. So I delete their asses. I get rid of them. Yeah. So what? Shout out to that chick that did that. But that was the fourth time I caught somebody doing that. So a lot of motherfuckers like they don't care. A lot of people in the African American community because I'm 1 and 1. They don't like me, like you know what I mean. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Like, shout out to you. I don't. I could less give a fuck. I really could. You know what I'm saying? And tú sabes la gente, claro que sí, en la negritos pero americano, tú sabes, no gusta la negrita pero la Cuba dominicano, tú sabes la Panamá, tú sabes, ¿por qué no me gusta? Porque tú sabes, la gente aquí se un poquito universo en la mente, tú sabes, porque en la mente, tú sabes, el chavo es la toda, chavo, 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 siempre el atado. Meanwhile, esta gente aquí se, tú sabes, vida en la barrio, tú sabes, la sucia barrio. Esta es por la gente latino, tú sabes. So yeah, it be shit like that be reasons why a lot of people, you know, I just don't click with y'all. I don't resonate with y'all. I'm not saying anything that's angry enough. I'm not saying anything that's bashing enough. So yeah, we're gonna probably a little bit after if we don't see any resolution or build up monetarily or otherwise or whatever. I mean, like fuck, I got a single that only costs $2. You can't spare $2 to go purchase my single. That really shows me like, no, this is not the people you should be fucking with. And somebody pointed that out to me. So all these randoms and people that just want to come around when you're gossiping about something in the moment. I don't need people like that. I need long-standing listeners or whatever. And I know who most of you are, and a lot of you are already on that other channel. And so you have nothing to worry about. You will still be getting content, but I'm just talking about this channel in particular. And plus, I think this channel has a hex on it anyway already because so many people have come in and try to interrupt this channel and the views I've gotten. I've never seen so. I've had more black people come after me than they go after actual Klan members or far right wingers. You understand? None of those motherfuckers, even the ones that came in here today and were mad about Cynthia G and the shit I said about her material, none of them have ever went over to a far right wingers channel and talk shit. I have. Even in fact, Candace Owens lives right here was from right here in this fucking town, and she's a far right wing, and I go after that bitch every ass Tuesday. I kind of like her, but you know what I'm saying. I go after her every time. I pull up to where she lives at, everything else. I go to far right wingers fucking pages. I go into fucking far right wingers fucking websites, everything, and talk hella shit and have them engage with me. At one point, some of them were coming over here to my page. You guys saw that, and I got control of it and block their asses. You'll see some of them still pop up in the comment section. You gotta really pay attention. Look at the one that is about the one with the lady getting punched on the subway. Look at that one, and you'll absolutely see what I'm talking about. But if you guys would like to donate, it's $ STRINGERBELL80. If you can't remember that, the link is in the description box. That's the little box is underneath the title. Just click that and you hit more and you'll see other options and everything there, whatever. Show me some love and support. I don't know. I just find it odd that like people literally like hearing lies and bullshit. And the more lies and bullshit that they hear, the more they want to support it. And I'm like, some of these people are just literally sitting out here lying to you. Like they was lying about with the situation with Young Dolph. They had pinpointed that Makita, the owner of Makita's Cookies, her daughter actually has something to do with setting him up. This girl has to make posts and everything else, or whatever, to protect her name. And what most of y'all, or some of y'all do know, there are people down there dropping left and right down there in Memphis or behind Young Dolph and just in general, just the violence that surrounds the black neighborhoods down there, you know? So I have to think about my future. It's another year. It's a new year. I'm starting out new. I'm in a new apartment. Thank God. I'm not sleeping on the street. I'm not sleeping in a homeless shelter or whatever. And I'd be goddamn if I'm sitting my time around wasting it with motherfuckers that I watch financially support other people, but won't purposely support me because whatever reason they deem fit. I've had people literally go through my comment section one by one and tell people don't donate to me. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do to you? I don't even know you. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I had it happen with people I do know as well. They have gone through, if anybody remembers me and they first followed me, there was a group of men that put together a video that I used to previously work with. Shout out to the men. However they fucking feel, that's how they fucking feel. If I see you again in life, I see you. If I don't, oh well, it's no hard feelings either way. I really don't care. But the funny thing was, I had somebody that was taking that video and was going from each person that had commented on my page, being like, don't believe what you hear, every two sides to a story, and all this gay shit or whatever. Ultimately, that video got like something like their video based off that got like 1,200 views, but it stopped people from donating to me. I'm like, yo, I'm out in the street. So you mean you niggas would help me? But you telling that other people don't help me too? I'm like, yo, what kind of demonic shit is that? You know what I'm saying? So these were motherfuckers, and I'm pretty sure it was somebody that pushed them to do it, or it was another particular individual that may have been prompted to do it because they're just that type of person. You know what I mean? They kind of play every part of the fence. I kind of figured that out. But whoever did it, however they did, I don't care. But they had to have put over 1,000 pieces of that link up. And it was just like it was comical. So I did a whole video and I like destroyed the whole fucking video. And they didn't get any more views. In fact, they made the video private. And I said, what a bunch of like, I don't know, this in all inclusive. What is like a bunch of piece of shit type of shit was that, you know? Like, and I just really don't care. I really don't care. I really don't care. I've had people take jokes at me, talking about, well, you this age, you should be doing. Listen, I worked in the music business for 17 years. Okay. I went to college. You understand? I'm not the guy that worked minimum wage jobs all my life. I don't know how to do much. When I was putting up solar panels, that shit was a challenge to me. The only advantage I had was I was tall and I'm strong. That was the two advantages I had being out there with those guys, and probably why they hired me, because I was tall and I was strong. It wasn't no short guys out there working with us. All them guys out there was over 6'1", 6 feet. You know what I'm saying? Inclusive of me. I'm 6'2", between 6'2" and 6'3". I'm tall. So they had us out there because we were tall and we are strong, and I'm stronger than what I look, which I always, since I've been in fucking fifth grade, have proved to people. People are surprised how fucking strong I am because I look small. I'm small, but my what's the names are tight. Like if you see my arms are tight. I have definition in my arms. See, I always lift, do all that shit. I'm not flexing or anything. That's my natural. You know what I mean? So I've always surprised people with how strong I am actually. But the funny thing is like I would see people online and they would literally just hate on the fact that you're able to create something and you're able to garnish revenue from something you created based on the stories that you tell. And a lot of people, they get fucking jealous of that. A lot of people, they don't like that. A lot of people within your culture, your community, a lot of y'all sit around and be like, oh, the brothers this and the brothers that. With a lot of y'all people that are good black people, y'all gotta realize that some of these motherfuckers are not your brother and sister. Some of them will kill you, rob you, rape you, or whatever the fuck else or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with saying, fuck these motherfuckers, take them out if you have to. And that's where I'm trying to get you. And if you don't want to get that, I'm just going to tell you, sooner or later, you're going to be prone to destruction. You're going to self implode. And none of that money that you're talking about, none of that little bullshit that you bought that you never had any time in your life is going to be able to save you. None of it's going to be able to save you. Society will topple you with the money in your hand. You'll be just like this. I'm melting. Counting your money as you die. Thank you, Tanya Johnson. I appreciate that. Tanya Johnson, let me make sure I shout her out too. Thank you very much, Tanya Johnson. I appreciate that. I wish more people were more generous to me like you. That's what I said. People, Tanya Johnson is not an unfamiliar face. I've seen her here before. But it's the people that come here and been here month after month after month after month. I'm like, damn, you can't put in $5, nigga. Like, and then they be commenting, and I hope everything gets better. Well, we're good better, bitch, if you gave $25 like Tanya and Ruby just did. How about that? Instead, they'll hop off from you. Oh, let me get up out of here. I ain't doing none of that devil. Let me go find somebody that's popular on here. What Kevin Samuel said, I go get 500 to him. The logic and the way these people think. You know what? Let me continue that a little bit more because I just want to talk about that. I think it was Doggy Diamonds that brought it up the other day, and I thank God Doggy Diamonds brought it up, whatever. And everybody knows me and Doggy Diamonds, we had our moment or whatever. I'm cool with Doggy Diamonds. Fuck all that. Shout out to Kareem too. Kareem, I saw your page too. I've been checking out your page. All right. I told you I can find whoever fuck I want to find. I'm good at finding people and other things. But that's another copy. That's another story. Anyway, long story short, Doggy Diamond said something that really stuck out to me. And what he said was, he was like, motherfuckers out here donating to millionaires. How's that make sense? You're donating to millionaires. Huh? And you have to really like question that logic with these people. Like, why are you donating to millionaires? Like, I'm literally, there's like billionaires that are online that have YouTube pages, have Instagram live pages. Y'all still let that motherfucker who admitted to, what was that big motherfucker's name? Derek Jackson. There's still people over there giving that big stubby motherfucker money. And I'm like, how y'all, this nigga embarrassed his wife on fucking camera, fucking, and y'all forgave him? He only in black world could he have been forgiven. Because in the white world, they would have, he's out of here. Maybe in 10 years we'll forgive you, but you're out of here. They don't have that strength in black community where they'll just get rid of a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you just have to get rid of a motherfucker. Don't you get it? Just get rid of a motherfucker. You know what I mean? You are the power. You guys, as far as like your following and everything like that, that's the strength. It's not the personality that's the strength. That's what Cynthia G got it fucked up. She thinks she's the strength. You're not the strength. Followers are the strength. I don't give a fuck about what you got to say. When you, by the time you figure that all out, it'll be too late. We come from a different branch, baby. Welcome to the gang. Cause see, just because you think that and I say this a million times, it depends on what I put up. It can get y'all see it for yourself. 54,000 views on first sight, or I can get anywhere from, whatever views in this first sight, 200. I usually average at least 100 to 200 views. If it's the lightest thing that y'all don't like, it'll get 100, 200 views. I see motherfuckers that have had shit up for 4, 5 weeks don't get number 21 views, and they are Cynthia G supporters and followers. People yet and still financially support her. People financially support Candace Owens. People financially support a lot of negative motherfuckers that y'all have online daily that spew nothing but gossip, confusion, drama, and all kinds of shit. And y'all give y'all hard-earned money to them motherfuckers. When people have seen me go through a whole tirade of fucking rats in the room, all kinds of shit, and I can really get a motherfucker give me $5, and I'll sit up here and take him to locations. I'm going to Trump Tower. I just took out Trump Tower 3 days ago. I go to different places that I had planned out, and I'm just like, you know what? Fuck that. I went to the Brooklyn Bridge, did one. Nobody donated. I'm like, yeah, it cost me money to get down here. So I'm like, if you can't donate this out of the goodness of your heart, at least recompensate a motherfucker for at least giving the intention of being like, I'm doing this for my audience. You can't even get that. Because the way and the format that these people sit under, and the reason I know you don't understand YouTube, many of them that'll be like, they'll base it off of how many people they see in your live. They'll base it off of how many people they, whatever, at the time of 10 minutes of you putting up the video, and they'll base their demographics on nigga demographics. You see, don't ever confuse real demographics with nigga demographics. Okay, nigga demographics are always skewed. Nigga demographics are thoughts and wishes and fucking whims and wants. All right? Those are nigga demographics. All right, nigga demographics don't hold no bound anywhere. All right, nobody cares about nigga demographics and your guessing and all that shit. I give a fuck less, and I know nigga demographics when I hear them because I spent 17 years giving and reporting real demographics. Okay, real towards to bosses. All right, so when I hear nigga demographics consist of shit like this. Well, in my area, I have to say that most of the men, and that's in your fucking area, or nigger men demographics, will be like, well, most real niggas around my way. Always watch a motherfucker when they say some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, around my way, Where do you live at? Public housing. So I understand now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you got to be real wary of who you fuck with in public housing. Let me tell you about that. I had a friend of mine that we had been hanging out with this guy. I ain't gonna say no names here, but if you see the rebroadcast, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. We had a guy that we were hanging out with, had some good times, went over there, hung out, drank, and everything else or whatever under the blue soon. Summertime shit. Not this past summer, but a while back. And some issues came up with some women. I'm gonna put it that way. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, my man's and the other man started beefing or whatever, whatever. But it was really on some project shit over Project Vijay. And I don't argue with Project Vijay. I don't necessarily turned off by Project Vijay. I didn't have Project Vijay before. I have to say Project Vijay is some of the top tier Vijay out there. Would you not agree, fellas, if you into Vijay? If you into eggplants and that's your business. But on the Vijay side of the game, yeah. Um, Project Vijay sometimes is the best Vijay in the world. I think the best Vijay I ever had in my life was Project Vijay one time from a damn, yeah. What I'm saying with that is a lot of guys will get on here and a lot of women will get on here as well. And I know they are not following me. And they will give you these motherfucking examples of this, that, and the other and the third, but it's from an untrained eye and ear. That's my point. Most of these motherfuckers have never left the projects. Most of these people will never know what it is to see life or whatever, whatever. And the best way they get at you is by trying to shame you online. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why I'm basically getting at. I've had a lot of people that come online and try to shame me, but I'm like, yo, what are you doing? And when you ask them that question, they have no answer. I've asked almost every person that's ever come to my page and tried to chastise me. I'm like, what are you doing? I had a bitch last night that asked me my whole resume about my life as if she was some authority figure. I voluntarily gave her the information because I wanted to. She couldn't digest or insinuate between the two. I said, I even say in the live, I was like, listen, I'm going to volunteer and give you because I have nothing to hide. I'm not a person that's running around hiding or hiding my background or whatever. I'm actually proud of my background. You know what I'm saying? Both ends of it. You know what I mean? So I don't have to do that. But some people, that's all they know how to do is lie to you or deceive to you or whatever, whatever. And I'm telling you, some of these guys that you're donating hundreds of dollars to, because you see that they got 2,000 people in the live or whatever, whatever, whatever. Even when I had 2,600 people in the live, I still I don't know if it's the way I look, the way I talk or whatever, whatever. That's when I did the one about Alpo. Nobody wanted to donate to me. And I'm like, there's 2,600 people in here. I did that live for 6 hours. Had 2,600 people on the live, had I forgot how many comments or whatever, whatever. And I had mentioned my Cash App maybe 4 times in that whole 6 hours, maybe 5 in the 6-hour tone. That's less than once an hour. Nobody. What I found is Black people and Latin people, they like to donate to whoever's the worst and the loudest. If you're the worst and the loudest, that's what they get their money to. The worst and the loud. I'm gonna repeat this way you get the worst and the loudest. I'm not saying Kevin Samuel's the worst, but the diatribe that you do nightly, repeatedly, and never switch up these guys, they pick one topic, right? If you guys are not peeping it, they pick one topic. Like for example, Kevin Samuel's topic is bashing women and rating them. So they run with that, and that's all they do. There's never nothing in the middle. There's never a story about anything else. Aren't y'all paying attention? There's never a story about anything else. He never reports on, hey, this is going on in society or whatever, whatever. We just run with one format, one man only. And that's bashing. Shit, Kevin, I love what you're doing. You got to realize a lot of the men that's over there that's donating to Kevin Samuels, they don't like women or they MGTOW or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Or they're having a hard time dating women or whatever, whatever. They give this motherfucker thousands of dollars. And the same thing to go with Cynthia G. This bitch sits online all day and puts up video of bashing men, all in the effort to get your money so they can drive. Well, in Kevin Samuels' opinion, he can drive Ferraris and Big Shirley can't fit up in there, whatever, whatever. Nigga, you a nerd. You an ex-nerd at that. You better have been lucky if Big Shirley would have gotten a call with you 2 years ago before your shit took off, you nerdy motherfucker. You a con artist too. Nerdy bitch con artist, nigga. But that's the motherfuckers that black people and Latin people like. So y'all can have them. Y'all keep on giving y'all that money. So I just want to see how all this turns out there because I know where it's going. But I want to see. You have to see who respects you and who rocks with you now, whatever, whatever. I've had people come up on here talking about they was broken and you turn around and see them donating to somebody else. This whole donation thing is basically for people, in my opinion, that need help, that I think is like me. I don't get monetized by YouTube. Kevin Samuels does. And so does several other people. I don't know how the hell they do it, but they get monetized by YouTube. So not only are they taking YouTube ad revenue, which can be anywhere from 5 digits to 6 digits, depending on who you are, but they're also taking money from you. If you guys didn't know that. And so they're coming off with a pretty penny. So you're helping propel these people and you're propelling them based on fucking one subject matter. They're not even multi-talented. I get on here and I talk about all kinds of shit. As you notice, my shit is not narrated to one thing. Like I don't narrate myself to this, like, okay, I'm gonna talk about this type of subject in this role with this. No, I talk about every fucking thing because one subject can get wine, boring, and well out. And that's why these motherfuckers continue with the diatribe that they do. Whether it's Kevin Samuels bashing them girls over there, them little young ass girls over there, or if it's Cynthia G over here bashing men on a daily basis. This is their spiel, and they roll with their spiel because they have absolutely fucking nothing else to offer. And if they did, they would have took off beforehand with those premises and those subjects. And y'all donating thousands of dollars to a motherfucker that's a million. Kwame Brown is a millionaire. Yet motherfuckers is over there donating $200, $300, $400 from. Tell me, everybody ain't got it. I heard somebody said that before. I said, you lying motherfucker. Make sure I ain't forgetting nobody else in here. Yep, this is Ruby and Tanya. Thank you, Ruby and Tanya. I appreciate you very much. For the rest of y'all that have been watching me for the past 3.5 hours and haven't put anything in there, I understand you just ain't got it. But at least hit the like button if you could. If you won't do that, probably either you're probably just a fucking voyeur and just want to sit here and watch me for whatever reason or another. I think a lot of people that just sit here and watch me and don't comment, don't interject or anything like that, they're either weirdos trying to steal something from you or trying to grab a premise or something maybe you said and it got some relevance in it. That's why they stay here. Or quite frankly, they might just be part of the LBGT community. There's a whole bunch of you boys out there to be following men and be really having a crush or some shit like that. The women that do it, usually they come here and they just stare and they gaze and they try to figure out what you're going to talk about because they wait for you to say something that they could run with or whatever, whatever. Don't worry, bitch. My edit is always on. Always on. I'll always have my edit on because one thing I know, this if I could show you in the last 3 hours and 15 minutes I've been on here, and those two well women that donated to me, thank you very much. That's why I never say anything bad about women of color. Those two good women that donated to me right there in 3.5 hours, my shit should have been way beyond that. So thank you, Ruby. Thank you, but yeah, I'll let you guys. I'm gonna hop aboard for here. I'll let you guys get to your regular gossiping and going on and seeing everybody and see what they gossip about, see who's fucking who or loving hip hop and everything like that. And now try to be back later and talk to you guys about something important. If you guys would like to donate the real ones out there, you can go to $STRINGERBELL 80 and string a bell 80. The link is in the description box. And also there's a pin link in the description box for PayPal. Also, you can purchase my single, which is in there or whatever, but judging by most of it, you probably won't do that either because some of you motherfuckers just hate me. So like I said, I got to do something about that. So we're gonna, y'all have a good day.